Hey, I'm Duke on Twitch. If you want to support the channel and greensunzenith.com, you can find my Patreon, merch store, and singles store where you can buy singles through TCG Player or Card Hoarder in the video description. If you want to get in contact, you can also find all that info in the description below for things like donation deck lists or just wanting to reach out. Alright, let's get right into it. Hey team, welcome back to Dukes on Twitch. Back today with the third installment of the Green Suns Summit, this time with a returning co-host in Newton Hang, aka Hello Newton, with a pretty sweet take on Cradle Control, which has changed a little bit since we last played. Newton, thank you very much for coming on. How are you enjoying Cradle Control at the moment?
Thanks, Dukes. I am. It's funny. I think legacy gameplay is just in general really fast, and it feels like your decisions are really condensed within the first few turns now, assuming both sides are playing pretty optimally. In terms of the deck, I think there's. I've been enjoying winning with it because I think the deck is really good and just like really strong because of why the Reliquary. I think. Well, we'll get more into that later on, but I've been enjoying it a lot. I think the only thing is there's still a lot of room for exploration, so that part I'm excited about. In terms of overall legacy gameplay, I think some of it's not the best at the moment, but we do what we can.
Yes, I definitely feel the same about decision making and the early turns of Legacy. And although it not might be right in front of you that the game is over, you definitely get this sense of dread that things are going to snowball towards whoever has made the better decisions.
Mhm.
And yeah, I think one thing we're going to point out before is that it's a clear difference between, say, Maverick and Elves is that you do have a bit of an unfair way to win through natural order, similar to Dark Depths, and that you can just kind of win out of nowhere. And I think, yeah, as you were saying, it's quite important right now, and I definitely believe that. Yeah, it's nice to have a somewhat fair deck, creature deck, and then just have that unfairness in it in natural order.
For sure.
We have some new cards here. And a card that a lot of Maverick players have been trying to find a way to play is Wight of the Reliquary. This looks to take the place of what we played with in Fiend Artisan, but I assume you've actually really liked your trial with Wight and pretty much found it a home in Cradle Control.
Yeah, it's nice that you brought it up right now. I think within the context of this deck, Wild of the Reliquary is just like a fiend artisan on steroids. I don't know if you caught any of my review from earlier this week. I reviewed my top 8 from the Super Qualifier and a lot of the matches, and a lot of the games like my opponent did not have answer for why the Reliquary on turn 2. They were on like either Riscaminator or Blue Black Tempo, and I just said on the spot, I think the game's already over. Like that card is the closest thing I've ever played to Dread Horde Arcanist in terms of if you untap, you will win the game. Like,
Mm.
and I think Maverick players, if they get a chance to, they should definitely try to build around the card. It is insane how good it has been for me. Like I think, and Andrea Mangucci on his videos has and even on the podcast with me, I guess that shameless plug there, but uh Andrea Mancucci echoed the same thing. If you untap with Wilder Reliquary in a fair matchup, you will win the game.
Yeah, it does seem pretty fantastic. And I think the most underrated part written on it is Vigilance, because it's just the best threat and it's also always active and always live.
Mm-hmm.
That I think is, yeah, a great reason to play it. It fits really well into this shell, of course, because you have a few creatures that probably get a little bit of value early game, like your mana dorks, and then you can go and sack them to go and find your cradles, which
Mm-hmm.
is nice. You aren't playing Grist, which I assume is just potentially you see no reason for it at the moment, but is there something in the metagame that makes you think that, yeah, Grist isn't really needed?
I guess that's a two-part question. I think really I was off Grins before when I added the Springheart Nantuko because why pay 3 mana for something or 4 mana with Green Sun, right? When there's a better version at 2 and 3 mana respectively, that is more explosive. Granted, the Gris has some niche uses, such as being found off through a containment priest, and it's a removal in a pinch. But I don't really personally like spending 4 mana to remove their like psychic frog anyways. Like I just think that's just a tempo loss. And this deck is really secretly also a tempo deck, and you just want to be really efficient on mana.
Yeah, great response. Sylvan Safekeeper in this list. I haven't seen Safekeeper in a long time, if at all, in sort of like an Elves shell. Was there like a change in removal being played in the format, or potentially a change in the creatures you saw in Cradle Control being just too important that you do want to have some sort of protection?
I'm glad you asked that question. So the other Cradle player in the top 8, my friend Ouphe, who goes by Ouphe, we were the last two to finish undefeated, and I lost the mirror match to him, but he played 3 copies in his top 8 list, and granted his sideboard reflects some of the reasons for that, but the secret is, or not so secret, is why the reliquary is just so important. I'm just trying to force it through, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So like ideally your curve is turn 1 dork, turn 2 depending if they have open mana or not. Like if they have open mana, I probably lead with a Safekeeper into Wild Reliquary, especially if they're not a Daze deck. If they tap out, then I'm just gonna go Reliquary. Maybe they have removal in hand, they don't Daze it, and then I play the Safekeeper. And if that resolves, in my eyes, the game is already over. Like it's that good. And I almost want to play 3 because for the same reason, right? This deck is like super linear. You try to do the same thing over and over, which is just stick a Wight and the game's over.
Yeah. Yeah. As someone who's played with Safekeeper, I definitely know the advantages of protection, especially for a creature that gets bigger. Sorry, I was going to say for lands, but it's for creatures. But yeah, that's actually a really interesting point, because I think that Safekeeper is a card that a lot of players have thought about in Maverick for when they're not playing Mother of Runes as just like a Green Sun's target. But there's, from like a Maverick perspective, I'm finding there's less hate bears that are like very much, if this gets on board and we have Safekeeper, then we win the game. There's just a little bit too much in Legacy now that it's pretty hard to do that.
I think that makes sense, right? Like Safekeeper is only as good as the threat you're pushing. And the reason why, I mean, pun not intended, because Fatal Push is like the premier removal right now, but the reason why I'm playing 2 and even want to go back up to 3 potentially, like I have some lists out there with 3, but Ouphe played 3, for instance, in the Super, in his top 8 list. But to sum it up, it plays really well with Wild Reliquary because it allows me to like not be afraid of top deck removal in case I tap Wight for some reason, like to go on offense, right? For Lair the Hydra or Gaia's Cradle. The other reason is it actually plays really well with us, my sideboard plan too, which is against some of these artifact decks, like the game plan is just protect Collector Ouphe.
Yeah, I love that. And yeah, Ouphe is still one of the cards where it can just get a game out of nowhere, which is nice. I'm finding that less and less with different types of hate bears, but Ouphe still seems to be the one that stands the test of time, which is good, even though it's fairly recent from a Modern Horizons set. Emperor of Bones is a card that I know like XJ and a few D&T players have moved towards in the main deck. I do like that it does something pretty much as soon as it comes in. Is there a reason why you like the Emperor of Bones over a green sunnable card like Curator or Scavenging Ooze?
I am a big proponent of being mana efficient. So something like Curator, like I think Curator is just a better ooze personally, because the trample is like super relevant in this kind of deck. But to answer your question, there wasn't really any rhyme or reason why I chose to play 3 Emperor Bones. It's something Ouphe actually suggested to me before, and I had like 1 league under my belt with it, to be honest. I played the Super kind of on a whim, and I decided I'm just gonna use this as testing because I didn't expect to top 8 personally, only because I kind of played on a whim. But I do like the philosophy that same thing, right? Like if Wight of the Reliquary is in your graveyard, you can bring it back Wild Reliquary. Like the game plan is like super linear. I just
Yeah.
want to ride Wild Reliquary to the finish line, so to speak. And Emperor essentially gives me more like copies, I guess, because I can
Yes.
just bring her back.
With Adapt 2, can you only do it once? If something is adapted, can you adapt it again?
No, you cannot. But
Okay.
one cool trick that I realized in the one league that I played, I didn't get to do this in the super qualifier, but one thing I realized is uh if you bring back Wild Reliquary with the adapt, you can actually attack with Wight, and then on end step, like sacrifice Wight for Talon Gates, and then phase her out. And even though her finality counter is still on, she actually survives to your next untap now, and then you have a fresh Wild Reliquary.
Very cool. I
So it's
I do
almost
like
like the
that.
flicker whisk trick, yeah.
Yeah, I love Talon Gates, which is actually a really good segue towards Talon Gates, which I think with Reclaimer is really solid. And it is obviously a really nice way to get maybe a big creature out of the way, but saving your own creature as well is fantastic. Because the other day on stream we're playing Depths, and I did the classic, like, opponent plays Liliana, so we go and get Echoing Deeps with Reclaimer to copy a Dryad Arbor, to sack the Dryad Arbor from the bin. But we could have just got Talon Gates, and that's actually just a better play. So it's actually amazing how good Talon can be, both offensively and also defensively.
Yeah, and in our deck, like we don't really need to make Wight outside of like hard casting Atraxa. So the colorless untapped source is actually pretty relevant for casting like Endurance or Natural Order or like a big green sun or something.
Yeah, I did see that Mengu obviously went 8-0-1 with your list, which is great to see. And it's just nice to see the deck doing both well online and offline. I think that's a great showing for the deck, especially when, it does take 4 cradles to build. So it's nice for a player to see that and go, okay, well, at least if I have this, then it's not just like the online metagame where Cradle Control is good. It's actually quite a good deck, quite a good, well-rounded deck, which is nice to see. Last question, and I think this is for a lot of like newer players coming to the format who might see some of the top decks on MTG Goldfish. They see the snuff outs, and then they go, wait a second, like, blue black is one of the main matches, or one of the main sort of best creature decks in Legacy. This doesn't hit, like Archon, Frog, Troll, etc. What's sort of your reasoning for playing Snuff Out over another removal spell that might be able to hit some of these creatures out of blue black?
So that is a question I get a lot, and might be even the most common question I get at the moment. The short story is we don't actually care about Psychic Frog. So I know that's gonna sound crazy, but um, in general, if you have an untapped Wild Reliquary, one thing you can do is like take 2 hits, sometimes even 3 from Psychic Frog, and really their only good draws against you is like removal. But aside from that, like you don't really actually care about most of their draws. And how the way the game plays out for me is if I stick a Rather Reliquary, especially one that's protected by Safekeeper, uh, I can just start blinking out or phasing out the Psychic Frog when they attach and spend resources to jump. And the other reason why I like Snuff Out is because you will have a hard time against Ancient Tune decks without it. Like my experience is, it's very important for the Ancient Tune matchups, and I think if you're newer and a little bit afraid of having perfect sequencing or near perfect sequencing against some of these blue black days decks, I would recommend something like Andrea Mangucci's list, which has the 2 fatal pushes and the dismembers. Uh, it's probably his list is probably a better learning tool and easier to pilot for newer players. But I think the more reps you get, the more you realize like you don't actually need removal against Psychic Frog because Rider the Reliquary will win the game. Like I've stared down multiple frogs with 1 white, and it literally just goes the distance.
Very cool to hear. I will say as well, this deck is quite well tuned to deal with some of the more unfair things in blue-black Reanimator from the graveyard, whether that's through Reclaimer Bog or Endurance or Emperor of the Bones. a lot of the times they probably just don't have the like angle to get something in play, which is great. And it's nice because obviously that's probably the best way to actually deal with the creatures without them actually getting value from them.
Yeah, I think something I really like about like each iteration of Cradle that's kind of like gone on over the years is the combo matchups have gotten progressively better because of things like uh endurance and I guess in this case Reclaimer and Wild Reliquary for Bog. Just incidental hate that is only one spot for say like Bog that is part of your framework of the deck, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I would say as well, yeah, I think the snuff outs just make how do I put this? I think the choice of snuff out really shows how much work you've put into the list to really know what you want to destroy and what you want to care about. And yeah, I think that's a huge credit too. So let's get into a league and see how this goes. I
Thanks.
believe.
I appreciate the kind words.
No, you're welcome. I believe we went 4-1 in the last, so I am pretty keen to hopefully.
I think the
take
only
down.
thing I will add is if you want the training wheels, I guess, or just the insurance, the first grist does have applications such as beating a containment priest if that's popular in your area. So if you don't just feel completely naked against whatever XYZ creature, right? Like that, the first copy is kind of neat if that makes you feel better about playing the deck.
Yeah. What made you move away from Springheart?
Two things. I think I noticed that it wasn't really helping in the hard matchups, like against fast combo, for instance, that is immune to. We can mold this.
Yeah, a bit too much mana.
It's just 5 lands, so it's just the automatic mold. I think here, I don't know what our opponent is playing, but in general, I like to bottom natural, unless I know they're on like Ancient Tomb or something.
Cool. Yeah. The double white Israel most likely means one is surviving, which is fantastic for us.
Right. Also, I just like keeping a low curve. Like that's part of the reason why I like the safekeepers as well.
Yes.
So what was I gonna say? I already forgot. But that's okay. Oh,
Springheart and Entuku.
oh yeah. I just felt like it wasn't helping in the harder matchups, and it is good with Wild Reliquary, obviously. Um, but my logic is if you have an active white, you should be winning like most of the time, anyways. So I just didn't feel like you needed it felt it's not win more, but it felt win more, if that makes sense.
Yes. Okay, interesting. We had a double spell turn 2, which is nice. This is interesting. I haven't played against a deck with this in it in Legacy yet.
I have a few times, and this matchup, unfortunately, is one where we wish we had kept the natural order instead of the endurance. But we pretend like we don't know what our opponent's on.
Mm-hmm.
So so one thing actually, since we're on that topic, one of the key concepts of this deck is ideally you want to double and triple spell turn 2. Like that's essentially what this deck is trying to do every game. Like essentially cheat on mana.
Mm. I feel like that's where Maverick is heading towards, where like the last kind of advantage you have is being able to cheat on mana a little bit with your mana dorks. And like Wasteland as a spell is sometimes nice, but I typically these days feel better about just getting 2 creatures into play if I can on turn 2 instead of like Wasteland and something else.
Yeah, I just feel like green's biggest advantage is mana dorks, which is why I play, as many as I do.
Is this a deck that cares about Tamiyo too much?
It does, but doesn't at the same time. It's like you care about the ultimate, but otherwise no.
Hmm.
So
Do you
that's
know?
another reason actually why I'm off Springheart. It's I would say one of the weaker reasons, but it is a thing where the tokens are kind of bad against Tamio, right?
Yes. Yeah, it's like the older J stays in Standard. Okay.
So, do you want to give? Do you want me to give you the play, or do you want to take a guess what it is here?
I would assume it's playing Reclaimer and Wight around days, and then attacking the Tamiyo.
Yeah, pretty much. I think you lead with Wight, and then you lead with, to play around double days, and then you go Reclaimer, and then you bash the Tamiyo with the exalted, Hierarch.
Nice.
Endurance is like not great in this matchup, but I guess since we're on the topic of endurance, the reason why I play 4 main is because I'm gonna play 4 regardless. And I like having cards that I can easily board out when they're not good, but yet still have a high floor when they're not good. So endurance is like, the green force of will 75% of the time for me. So that's okay. That's good enough for a card that I don't mind boarding out sometimes.
Yeah, it's got pretty good reach as well. Like I haven't seen Delver too much these days, but it's typically good against the Delver decks. It's decent against some of the combo decks that are reliant on graveyards, and then it's decent against the good, like, more controlish decks as well.
I think the main reason to play endurance main right now is Riskaminator is still the most popular deck, and it's quite good against Riskaminator. Now, obviously, not how good it was against Delver, like pre Modern Horizons 3, but like I think that's just asking too much out of a card.
Yeah. Okay, double Delver's a little bit scary, but
I think the first thing we want to do is play the Safekeeper, right?
yeah. Just in case their last card is a removal spell, but I would assume they would have used it on their turn.
Exactly right.
And I think here as well, like, holding up Reclaimer is much better than casting the Endurance here.
I think the endurance here is yeah, I don't think well, I think the first thing we do is we just like attack through with Wight, right? We know they can't do anything about it. And then the exalt is like really nice.
Yeah, the ulti on this is pretty scary, especially against a deck that does have, like, just creatures they can just chump and put in front.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much 3 turns. My thoughts is just Endurance after the Delver triggers.
Yeah, I think that's reasonable. You can see what they have, and then that plays around top deck days too.
Yeah,
or top deck force.
I assume they fetch here between, unless they really want what's on top. No, they do.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess if it's Murktide, it's not the worst, but there's probably no reason not to just cast the Endurance here.
I feel like, yeah, you just want to do it because you don't want to give them accidental Murktide value. Not to mention, we have to try to take down the Tamiyo. Like, that's one of the ways we lose, I think.
Okay.
Oh, brutal with the days.
That's fine. Both our lands come into tapped, correct? Yes.
Yeah.
I assume we're getting rid of the Noble? Oh, maybe the Ignobled for a Cradle?
Oh, this is perfect. Now, they're trying to bring back a brainstorm. I think we just bog them here, right?
Yeah.
The cradle means less here because we're hellbent anyways. If, for instance, we had like a natural order in hand, I think it makes sense. Like, I think we just get the free value off the bog when we can, right?
Yeah. Okay, so they have no cards.
Yeah, we're pretty ahead now.
Hmm. guess Cradle here does turn on. It's kind of nice as well because you create the token if you've gained life this turn, I believe.
Uh-huh.
And you can like chump block with the Dryad and then sack it so they don't gain life off an attack.
Right.
If they think they're gonna potentially get a blocker.
The nice thing about having the Reclaimer here on board as well is we can actually set up a big lair. So the Reclaimer can get a Cradle, and then you can Wight and get the lair, right?
Nice.
And then you have Safekeeper protection too, which is like why Safekeeper's so good.
Yeah, Lair's an interesting one. I like that Lair has stayed in the deck.
Yeah, sometimes I get that question like, oh, why are we playing Lair the Hydra? It seems like not an optimal card, and maybe it's not optimal on surface level, but at the end of the day, you have to put your opponent to 0.
Yeah.
And while all your other utility lands are really good, they don't actually put your opponent to 0.
Yes, that's very true. It doesn't have trample, correct? No.
It does not have trample, but it gets really big.
Yes. Hey Justin, thanks for the raid. A huge thank you. Hope you went well in Vintage. Hello to all those coming from Justin's stream. I'm Dukes on Twitch. That's Newton Hang. We're playing some Cradle Control currently in game 1 against Jeskai Delver. Okay.
So here I think we just make a big lair and attack with Wight and Lair, right?
Yeah. There's no reason to keep up Reclaimer mana.
I don't think so. No. You have Safekeeper anyways, and to be honest, you can technically attack with Reclaimer as well, and just like try to take the Tamiyo off the board. I suspect they're not gonna like just lose 2 creatures for no reason.
Yes, I guess because he gets the -1, it'll just be a 0/1.
Yeah, you can also actually attack with the Reclaimer and just sack a creature too. They end up blocking it.
Nice. Yeah.
So that's a nice onboard trick that you can do.
Nice. I love that.
If they mess up,
Maybe, yeah, gain. I was going to say to gain lifelink, but I don't think that really matters here.
Yeah, so the question about why is Lair in the deck, like it's for this exact situation or similar, right? Like it's a board stall more or less, and you just break the board stall.
Wow. I guess there's no decent blocks, and like Tamiyo's kind of done its role. But tough for them, like they're down to 0 cards.
Tamiyo, I don't think got them any cards, right? Like, actually, they might have triggered once with the clue token.
No, because they played it and then brainstormed straight away.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. Right.
And they didn't even get to ponder because we bogged.
Yeah. So really, they're just 0 for 1 there themselves, right? With the Tamiyo there, I guess they like saved themselves some damage, right? Like we would be going face otherwise.
Yeah, thankfully they didn't brainstorm because we were bogged in response. Yeah, I feel like they just don't have a great thing to do here. Thankfully a great match for Snuff Out. Can be a little bit awkward, but it seems that keeping them off early creatures is pretty key.
Yeah, what did we see that? Okay, I guess we saw Delver. So typically, unless they're on like blue-black tempo, which I now keep in the natural orders, I like to board out natural order against some of these like tempo-ish decks, especially if we know for sure they have DRC as well. And I think you can bring in like Emperor Bones. I think that's like reasonable.
Nice, yeah. Yeah, Bones is pretty cool.
Take that back. They have the Oscillator Cat, right?
Correct.
So I wonder how much they're actually relying on the graveyard. I might not even like Endurance, to be honest. Okay. And keeping the natural order package.
Yeah.
And then against these tempo matchups where I keep in the natural order package, I'm just assuming they can't beat an Atraxa. So I board out the Craterhoof too.
Nice. So I should just the extra bones.
Yeah.
Nice.
Exactly.
Very cool. Nice. I do love a deck that has a lot of play sets.
Yeah, I am a big fan of consistency. I know some people think this deck is boring, but I don't mind boring if that means the deck is consistent.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on keeping hands with a once to find a green source?
Um, the Talon Gates is not particularly great here. You assume once is gonna miss. Sorry, I misspoke. You assume once is gonna hit, and you assume you can draw one land in the first two draw steps. But the Talon Gates is almost a mull already. I would say probably mull again this hand and just like not take the
Yeah.
risk.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, this is so much
Nice.
better.
Yeah. Definitely a keep. Um, they're most likely a deck that's going to remove our first creature. That
Mm-hmm.
I can see Cradle being a little less appealing, but we do have like multiple ways to find it as well.
Believe it or not, okay, so it depends how greedy you are. If you're greedy, you bottom a land. If you're not greedy and you want to play this safe route, I actually think I would put the Wight on the bottom, but I think
Okay.
we have a decent chance to. I think we have a decent chance to draw lands within the first few turns. So I would probably, well, yeah, let's play it safe. Let's put Cradle on the bottom. I think our creatures are so good. Like we just expect one of them to resolve.
Yeah. Is this a matchup where we haven't seen Wasteland, but would you go for a basic early on, or would you just go hard into the bayous?
I think on the draw, and especially since we have multiple fetches, and we have a so one thing I really like to make consistent in this deck is if you have 3 mana, especially in the face of a wasteland deck, you can go 2+1 in turn two if that makes sense. So like I want to go turn one basic, turn two Wight reclaimer.
Yep.
I don't want to give my opponent ways to beat me.
Nice. Yeah, I love that.
The other reason why I think bottom cradle was correct was I don't want to put into a position where I have to lead with Bayou unless I have no choice.
Yes. Yeah. No, Days is pretty nice. And it's nice that the Noble, if it survives, allows us to play around Days a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Ideally, here they don't kill our dork because I know some of these players they just think, oh, if you kill the Wily Relic, that's good enough. But the secret is actually we don't actually care often. Well, let me. I think it's correct more often to kill the dork than not, but that's me. Like they try to save it for White, but then you get punished, right? If we draw Safekeeper, which we just did.
Yeah. Pretty good turn from them. Thankfully, our creatures line up pretty well against the 1/1s.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
Oh
and a
wow.
snuff out.
So I think sequencing here. What do you think?
So I definitely don't want the snuff out to get dazed because of the life loss. So I think
Mm-hmm.
snuff out's probably one of the first things we do. And
Correct.
then the Wight and then the Reclaimer.
I actually think you had it there until the last thing.
So
To
close.
me, this is the classic board state that we want to achieve, right? We want to go snuff out probably their Delver of Secrets, right? I'm
Mm,
assuming that's because the other stuff we can block.
yeah.
And then White, and then play Safekeeper, and they're in my eyes, they're on a 1 turn clock. Like they have to deal with
Nice.
that board.
Yeah. So close.
You almost had it, but like, yeah. Assume if White does not. Okay, so the caveat is if White gets forced, then we play Reclaimer.
Nice. Okay. Yeah.
But if White resolves, then we just want to play Protect, right? Like it's in a lot of ways, it's almost Delvery, right? Like you just want to protect one threat.
Mm, okay. Interesting. This deck opposite us can go wide pretty quick, especially with the Pride like triggering and then playing a second main, and then getting both triggers at the end step.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Take 4, go to 9. We can block 2.
This start from them is pretty difficult to beat, I think.
Yeah.
I think I just go Wight into Reclaimer here and just
Yeah.
like, pray, right?
Okay. Who would have thought 2024 Legacy was all about cats?
I definitely did not have that on my radar. I'll be honest with that.
I believe.
Yeah, I think we have no choice.
Like
We're
first
pretty low
strike.
on life already.
Yeah. Okay.
I wonder why they didn't do that earlier.
Yeah. Hmm. I think they've just gone too wide.
I think so too. I think our line here is just, well, yeah, I'm not sure if we can get ourselves out of this. I'd probably just go once into another land and then
Yeah.
play Emperor.
Hopefully Cradle play Emperor.
Yeah.
No. Oh, actually the fetch there, I think. I don't think it matters, like making the Reclaimer a 3/4, but it's something to
I
think
think
about.
we're pretty far behind already.
Yeah.
Our opponent, like, that's the scary thing about this cat deck. Like, one thing this deck can struggle, the Cradle deck can struggle against is like these super go wide strategies. Like, unless we're willing to play a Tabernacle on the sideboard.
Yeah. Or like a Plague Engineer is like a, yeah. I'm allergic to cats as well, so double trouble.
I know, right? I'm also a dog person myself. We have our dog, so
Nice. Hyperallergenic?
unfortunately not.
Okay.
They're it's a misnomer, I know, but Australian Shepherd, and
Yes.
uh, they shed a lot. So I think after we've played there, I don't actually know how good Bones is in this matchup, to be honest.
Hmm.
Right? Like what is it hitting exactly? And exposes ourselves to black more. I feel like I probably just want endurance better.
Yeah.
Well, actually, that's not true because endurance, like I guess, what is Bones hitting that endurance? Endurance hitting that Bones is not, except nuking the graveyard.
Yeah, it means that we don't have to always snuff out the Delver if we're scared of a flyer.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah, I think
but
maybe the Bones coming down earlier is probably pretty relevant. So yeah,
yeah,
let's go. Let's keep it. I like the lower curve against this kind of Delver deck.
nice.
Yoriande. Hey Matt, how's it going?
Oh, nice.
Uh, so what do you think?
Yeah, I think this is pretty great. It does open us up a little bit to Wasteland, but we have like obviously the snuff out off a Bayou, and then we have Turn on Noble. Turn 2 would have access to.
Yeah, I think you hit it on the nail there. I think we have kind of everything we want here, aside from maybe another land. I would personally just go turn 1 Bayou, play Noble like you said, because if they're gonna swords our creature, we rather them swords the Noble.
Yes, and then the Noble pays for the Safekeeper, and then with Cradle, we just get to go Green Suns for. It doesn't play around. I guess it doesn't play around. I guess you could also like 1, 2, and then Cradle, but it wouldn't play around days.
So if it were me, and this plays out the way I think it will if they don't have removal, we're gonna vomit this whole hand by turn 2.
Hmm.
Like I don't play around days for the most part, unless I absolutely need to. So my play, yeah. So turn 2, if the noble sticks, is Safekeeper, Ignoble, Green Sun for 2 for white, and that is a putting my opponent, in my opinion, on a 1-turn clock.
Perfect. And then like from there, even if the Green Suns doesn't resolve, the mana we have is pretty fantastic.
Right. We're gonna top deck better than they are. Now, there's a good chance that they kill our turn 1 play, obviously, but I'm just saying if they don't, that's how I would play it out. And this whole thing gets vomited turn 2.
Yeah, there is a world where if they play a turn 1 threat, you could snuff out a daze, no pun intended, to then untap and be able to Green Suns quite well. But I think that we're pretty happy just to untap and see what happens.
Yeah, agreed.
Oof.
I would snuff out first, unless you're trying to bait the days, I guess.
No, yeah, I wasn't. I feel like sometimes if I try to play my opponent, I just play myself, and I get in these tunnel visions of like, oh yeah, let's go for like the line where there's always a better line to take. That's just a little bit more simple.
Oh,
sorry.
The Safekeeper's free here.
Yes,
and I would have led with the Safekeeper first.
Okay.
Yeah.
Come on, baby. Nice.
All right. So, in my opinion, the game is already over. Like we have an untapped Wild Reliquary that I don't think they can beat.
Like Wasteland's fine here because
they're setting themselves back.
We can obviously make use of it. Now, if they want a swords,
that's fine.
They're going after the white. We can just save again.
Yeah, like I said, I already think the game's over.
I like this deck. I don't like that the like cats, because of Modern, are like, I think they're like $30 each, maybe $40 in Australia. So like it's, yeah, pretty expensive to get into the deck, but it is a cool deck. Seems like a kind of fun deck to play. That's so crazy as well that we can just go and get Cradle or like another land off this.
I think we're gonna. Well, actually, I guess there's. I would probably just have rotated then because for the extra damage, because we know we're gonna get a land and a Cradle.
Yes. Sorry.
But it's not a big deal.
That's very true.
I would protect it.
Yeah.
So you can pitch an Ignoble and Talon gates the
Safekeeper.
The Safekeeper.
Okay. Discharge.
Ooh.
We don't have a way to put that into. We can't get rid of a creature here.
Yeah, there's a chance actually. Also, since we didn't have the land already on board,
we've allowed them to have this.
Yeah, we've opened ourselves up there. So I think, given that we don't have a land on board, we probably just let the Safekeeper go and just keep attacking with the white. I don't know how they beat that. But here we've lost the white for because of sequencing, right?
Yeah. Apologies.
No, it's all good. Like that's how you learn, right? I think here we just like Talon Gates and save the Safekeeper, right?
Yeah. Still attacking for 4, which is nice. Nice. Beautiful.
So if they force this, I don't think we care, to be honest.
Mm.
And we got a little bit lucky with this top deck. You know, better lucky than good. Like I said, I think the game is over now that we've drawn another white, right? Like otherwise they force and go hellbent again.
Yeah, that's a very quick resolve as well. Okay.
Don't think we care.
No. I think here we attack Talon Gates the token and then they have to block with the Ajani or else it's lethal.
Yeah, you could do that. Yeah, that's fine.
Which means we can green
Actually,
summon.
if you're gonna do that, you want to green summon first to spend the mana, right?
Yes. Probably just for another white.
I think so. As you can see, white is very obscene against these temple decks. I just in general, it's obscene card.
Ajani's cool. I've seen a few players playing around with Ajani in Legacy, which is nice. I really like it with Cabal Therapy, but it's just tough finding the right sort of deck for those two cards together.
So that's this ponder here illustrates the real power of this deck. Like while our blue mage is wasting tempo on, you know, taking time off essentially, right, by pondering, we essentially are in a lot of ways very close to a stompy deck where we just want to have threat after threat, and like I don't think they can keep up.
Yeah. Outside of like maybe like even Graveyard Hate here isn't great because the Exalted just makes another big creature, keeps up the white to fuel the other one.
So one question I get a lot is like, I'll get these suggestions about graveyard based synergies with white or the deck, and I actually, unless they're just too strong not to play, I prefer not to play these borderline graveyard reliant cards because as currently constructed, Graveyard Hate, while has text against us, is not particularly good. Like it's okay at best.
Yeah, it's quite easy for you to refuel, I feel, as well.
Yeah, so like Wight of the Reliquary and Reclaimer obviously get boosted by, you know, a big graveyard, but it's not like if your opponent has Graveyard Hate, your cards don't do anything. Like they're still very good.
If we draw a fetch here, we actually, okay, so now we get a free attack with the Safekeeper because if we attack with both of these and they don't block one of them, we have
lethal because of Arbor, right?
Yes. I believe so. Yeah, because if they don't block one, we sack a creature 6. We then have Arbor 7. No, okay. I thought we did for a second.
No, we have lethal. If they have to block because each white can pitch both hierarchs, and then we just
That's
pitch the
why.
Arbor.
Yes, sorry. Yep, there we go.
Yeah, they have to block. The only thing is like if they randomly board it in Faerie Macabre, like that's just the only random thing. But again, that's like pretty niche again. Like if you're boarding in Faerie Macabre against our deck, and assuming that's correct to do, that tells me the matchup is so bad you just need like these Hail Mary plays.
Nice.
So I think we just get you know, Lair and then a Cradle, right?
I love this deck. as a syndicate member, I approve this deck very much.
Yeah, this is what I mean. Right? You're just so much faster than these other decks because you don't waste time cantripping. You just have threat after threat, but you still retain all the consistency, right? Because of Green Sun Zenith and Once Upon a Time.
Nice. Very cool. Very nice. Yeah, I was gonna say like Faerie Macabre, like it's not actually stopping anything really. It's sure it's diluting the power of some of your creatures like Reclaimer and Wight, but it's not. It doesn't do anything to break up like the natural order combo. It only really like slows time a little bit. It's kind of like a fog -2 life at least.
Yeah. It's like a giant growth type effect. Like you can like get them, I guess. Like, but that tells me the matchup must be so bad for you that you need to rely on these like combat tricks.
Yeah. Oof. A pretty great hand.
Yeah.
I think the once is probably just trying to find another 1-mana creature so he can double spell on turn 2.
Pretty much, yeah. Or whatever your best creature is. I would probably fetch first the thin as well.
Nice.
Dig one deeper potentially if the Bayou is in your top 4.
There's Safekeeper.
Yeah, there you go.
Nice. I have seen, like, I would love for a deck to be there with, like, Wight of the Reliquary and Bloodghast, as you were saying, for, like, the synergy, but it's just really tough because it's that engine just isn't as powerful as other things you could be doing, and it is a lot of slots.
It reminds me personally of like the Springheart Nantuko discussion, right? It's like obviously it's very good with Wight of the Reliquary, but similar to Springheart Nantuko. But my logic is if you have a Wight of the Reliquary, you're beating 50% of the format already just by itself. There's it's not a perfect card, obviously, but Wight is only really, in my opinion, weak to fast combo. It doesn't really do anything. It doesn't do much against Storm, and against some of these artifact-based combo decks, it's not perfect either.
Yes. I lit on the Safekeeper just because of Solitude out of
That's
this deck.
perfect. Yeah, no, that I would have done the exact same thing. You did it exactly how I would have there.
Nice. All right, one back in my book.
I think against, assuming they're on some kind of this DNT deck, really this matchup boils down to like, can you keep the game progressing long enough until you have natural or green sun for 8? Like that's to me what this matchup is about.
Yeah. Yeah, Safekeeper is pretty sweet. It's okay, Double Vial we don't really care about, which is nice. And again, Wasteland's fine because we can just...
Yeah. So one mode I like about Safekeeper that besides being a 1-drop obviously and just like lowering the curve is I've got like secret lethal because of Reclaimer growing as a result of her.
Nice. Ooh, close. That means we want to play the Bog this turn just in case we don't draw another land and want to be able to... I guess we have the Wight.
If it were me, like we have Cradle mana, right? Like I think it makes sense to just get Endurance on board. Like this deck is very board centric focused, so like I think if need be, we just like pitch one of our creatures for Cradle or whatnot. That's how I would play personally.
Yeah. So you would...
I would play the Talon Gates and then like hold up Endurance mana essentially.
Yes.
And then be careful not to attack with the Safekeeper.
Yes. Yeah, it could be... I don't know what... I don't know Craterhoof mana, but I don't know if it's better to... I guess we have to keep the Hierarch, and it probably makes sense to keep the Safekeeper just to protect us all the way through combat. So it probably makes sense to get rid of the Endurance to the Wight for the Cradle.
I think so. Endurance doesn't really do anything in this matchup, I feel. Also, unless you have lethal. Well, I guess we have Safekeeper, so it doesn't really matter.
A fetch land would be kind of cool. Noble's
That's
pretty
pretty good
nice.
too.
Yeah. We obviously don't want to use this.
So I think I would play the Hierarchs first and then bog them. Or yeah. And then
Get
so
rid
you
of
have
this.
enough fodder for the
Nice.
in general, if I don't have Safekeeper here, I would probably get Atraxa, but we have lethal through removal, right?
Yes. Nice. Nice. Yeah, that's what, yeah, that can be really tough. Like, as a player who got into Legacy with Death and Taxes, like old school D&T, Elves was always just a really rough matchup. But I feel like probably things have changed a bit, especially like Solitude. A lot more like just value as well coming into the deck.
Me personally, I felt like it definitely got closer when we were on the Fiend Artisan list and they just play nothing but removal. I even though I was beating some of my D&T counterparts, like a lot of these Cradle players were losing, but I think with the additional Wild Reliquary and just like a little bit more practice, I think now the average Cradle player should be able to hold off the average D&T player.
Yes.
So I actually don't like Thoughtseize or Force of Vigor in this matchup personally.
Okay, nice. I was gonna say like this is, I would say definite, and then this is like the maybe board. But yeah, potentially because you are like
We didn't see
want to
much
keep.
too. That's the other thing.
Yes, you want to keep threats pretty high, and you don't want to be cutting too many threats just to make use of like spells.
So I would definitely board in. This is like one of the. I would definitely board in the fourth natural order just because it's very good in this matchup. I don't think you need Bog. They could be on that one card, I guess. I forgot what's called. The blinker, the Samwise. But I think I would board it out. I don't like Collector Ouphe too, to be honest. Like it's kind of situational. I want my cards to always be good. Like long story short. And obviously the endurances come out.
Yes.
So how are we looking right now? How many board? Like, yeah, I think all the endurances come out first.
Okay.
And then we have room, I guess, for since we can tutor it. I don't mind another land against these wasteland deck in Bog. And this is probably reasonable, I think.
Yeah, I think as well as having an extra black source can help.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's one of the ways we lose, I guess.
Mm.
And I think instead of the Emperor, I probably like Collector Ouphe a little bit more there, but I think Emperor on a Solitude is pretty neat for what it's worth. I don't think we can keep this hand, unfortunately.
Yeah.
It's a little too reactive.
Yep. Really not be able to play the board.
This is better, I guess.
Yeah. I would probably vote on the Bog.
Yeah.
Because we have both Bayou and then also just mana acceleration towards hardcast snuff out.
Mm-hmm.
And it's nice that all our lands come into play untapped, which sounds pretty basic, but I think that like one little false step can really add up. I also don't mind here just leading on the forest until
I think I would. I don't want to expose the Bayou.
The Bayou. Yeah, perfect. Like I do think like Containment Priest is a card that comes to mind, or potentially Stoneforge if they go for Cauldra, like just that clock. It's nice to turn off.
Yeah. So they're on red, so there's a good chance that our opponent's gonna be on Bombardiers too. For what it's worth. And I don't really want to just like lose our snuff out for no reason.
Yeah.
Or lose access to it, I should say.
Okay.
I like snuff out a lot less if they're on like the Bowmaster list. This version, I actually like Thoughtseize better because there's like no targets.
Yeah.
I think here. I think I will probably just play the. Hmm, this is interesting. I probably just play the Emperor here and just be mana efficient.
Yes.
If they want to waste this, I think we just live with it. Just hit their land, yeah, or whatever. But yeah, I think something to keep an eye on this because we didn't see much game one is if they're on like the don't give us any targets plan, then we're gonna board out snuff out. Okay.
Yeah, we
I'm
can
glad
deal
we
with
have
it
it
here.
now.
That's pretty cool that we can get a copy of it as well.
Oh yeah, actually, if we put our own bombardiers in, that's kind of sick.
Yeah. Which we... Can you adapt at instant speed?
Yes, so I don't know if there's a reason to do so right now, but it's a thing we can do. I think actually what I want to do is end step adapt because then we can hardcast hoof.
Nice.
Actually, your attack there was free, by the way.
Yeah, sorry, I totally lapsed on the adapt.
No, you had the hierarch trigger too.
Ah, of course, yeah. Sorry. That's, yeah.
Actually, if it weren't for the hierarch, I actually would not have wanted to. I probably would not have wanted to attack only because I wanted, like I said, have the bombardiers so I can hardcast the hoof next turn.
Yeah, obviously if we do this now, it'll go at the end
Yeah,
of
I
their
don't think
turn.
there's a point to do it now.
Yeah.
The good thing is I don't think our misplays is gonna matter. I think we just let that through because against these other like board centric decks, I find it very rare that we actually win through damage and not comboing them with natural order or green sun. Ugh.
Okay.
I think we just once here for whatever we find.
Claimer's not the
Reclaimer.
worst.
I think we get. I think that's the easy reclaimer.
Yeah.
Hey Timmy, how's it going? We discussed that at the beginning of the stream why we playing like no removal for frog. Long story short, for everybody coming in from Justin's chat, we don't actually care about frog. Like we can beat it pretty easily.
Pretty happy not to block because obviously Cradle is just a little bit too good of a resource.
Right.
2 for Irion. Okay, that is a Dryad Arbor. 2, 4, 5, 6. Seven. Getting close. Because next turn we'll have the Dryad Arbor, the Broadside, and the Emperor, hopefully.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I
think we just hold back and then we set up for lethal next turn.
Yes. Hey Caleb, a huge thank you for the raid. Hope you did well. I assume you're playing Cube. Welcome all those from Caleb's stream. I'm Dukes on Twitch. And this is Newton Hang, aka Hello Newton. We're playing Legacy Cradle Control against Mardu Death and Taxes. Thank
Hey,
you very
Caleb, how's it
much.
going?
Yeah, this is the third stream of 7 we're doing this weekend, all with different Legacy Green Suns aficionados. The Orion's a little bit tough because the Wisp will also get rid of one of our creatures in end step.
Yeah, we're hoping they miss on land drop here.
Hmm.
Oh, so okay, so
Okay.
they need to do it.
Ah, interesting.
I don't even know what that does.
So an ETB is attached to up to one target creature you control, destroy up to one other target creature. I believe if we Talons in response, it won't fizzle because it still has a legal target in the destroy. It's
I
not,
think that's correct. Yeah.
yeah, but we can Talon the creature that they try to
Target.
hit.
Yeah.
Which honestly, I'm more happy to see this than I am the Urion.
Yeah. I think on this board they're probably more afraid of the Yorion.
Okay. Which means we won't be able to bombardiers because this won't come back until our upkeep. But I think that's okay. Two, six, seven. Pretty tough because we go to 1 off the fetch.
The destroy part, was it a target?
Yes.
Oh, I would have just phased out their flicker wisp. I thought that's what you were doing.
Ah, and then had the Emperor destroyed?
Oh, maybe I'm reading it incorrectly. Oh, I see. Okay, I thought it was if you do that, then the other thing gets destroyed. Okay, never mind. I take that back. What I said.
All good, all good. I believe it is like it won't fizzle if you break it up.
Yeah. I thought we could fizzle it. My apologies.
Unfortunately, it has to be a cradle. No. We can take out the Flicker Wisp here with the broadside.
Wonder if there's any merit to doing it now compared to later.
Because we'll have to boast.
Oh, I see what you're saying. I'm just saying compared to like Talon Gates is all I'm saying.
Ah, gotcha, yeah. In that case, then...
I think we can still set up lethal is all I'm saying.
Yeah, no, that's very true. I think we do have another turn at least. Especially knowing last turn to play the 5th land, they played a second Cracker, so we know they don't have another land in hand.
Unless they top what deck one, right?
Yes, or if it's a third Krakus.
Right. What's the equip do, by the way, for that blade?
Equip 2, and then it gets +1 and Menace.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Okay, so I think, yeah. The Yorion phasing on the blade is kind of scary, though.
Yes, it is.
So we just have to hope they fizzle here. They did not.
Six. Yeah, so we have to top deck a land next turn as well. Yes, because we can only use the Reclaimer once for Talons. We can't use the Reclaimer to also get a Dryad Arbor, most likely.
It's a little awkward because we're missing one black mana.
Yes.
Because we could use the Bombardiers on end step for the extra mana. Stoneforge.
Once Upon a Time does it as well. Maybe not. No, because they get to take out the Arbor with the Bowmasters. They get to take out a creature with the Phantom Blade. We're down to two
No, they can't.
creatures.
The blade has been phased out.
With the Wisp. Wow, I
Yeah.
didn't even think of that.
Yeah, so that actually was nice for us to do that.
Yeah. Of course, this takes everything with it.
Right. We are on a 1-turn clock though, because we cannot answer both the Flicker Wisp and the Yorion simultaneously.
Yeah.
A Cradle here wins it for us. Unfortunately, not meant to be.
Yes, because we can't be both flyers. We can try to kill one, but
The only thing we could do is hope they don't attack with both, but I don't see why they wouldn't.
Yeah. You were saying something about seeing the Bowmaster and more of a black splash that you do like Thoughtseize?
We also saw Bombardiers, so I think if we assume Bombardiers is a 4 of, I think free is better than 1. The only thing is I am not sure about the Emperor there. It did not look very good in that game.
Yeah, maybe the Ouphe?
Yeah, I can see the Ouphe, to take care of the equipment.
Okay. Yeah, I like the small change. I still think just really nice to see these playsets around. Pretty happy to run it back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like TNT. It seems like a pretty a good puzzle of a matchup.
Yeah, I think this matchup, it's a lot of it's just can we count to 4 and 9 respectively, right? Like we were never able to count to 9 in that game, or 8, I guess.
Yes, unfortunately.
Generally speaking, I think our top decks are more live than our opponents, because our top decks literally win the game.
Yeah. All right. Would love a pretty great hand.
This is an excellent hand.
Yeah. Pretty happy to lead on the Noble to try to open up just a turn 2 spells.
Double spell, right? Yeah, it's the same idea pretty much. If you want to call it boring, it's boring, I guess. But like you want all the games to look the same, which is like turn 2 Wight, and if you untap, you win.
The small error that I probably made is not fetching for Bayou, which means we can't play Cradle this turn in case we draw into like another little creature.
I actually like your play because there's some random players who will wasteland turn 1 for no reason. So I actually like playing around I think we want to be able to cast Wight on 2 is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Okay.
So I think here we just go Wight into let me see. Probably Reclaimer, I would guess.
Yeah, crazy. Turn 2 5 permanents versus 1.
They probably Swords or Solitude the Wight here. These D&T decks have like a million removal spells.
Hopefully it's just a Surveil. Yeah, okay.
I don't think so. Oh, I guess it is, yeah. If they pass with 2 mana up, you have to expect Containment Priest. But we have the Wight as an answer. But
I would assume it's Bowmasters take out the Noble, but then
That's
we can
fine.
still. Could Green Suns for Dryad Arbor, and then 1 and 3 Natural Order for Ouphe. Oh, and Solitude. Okay.
If it were me, I would have taken the line you suggested, but not got Hoof. I would have just got Atraxa.
Atraxa. Kind of refilled the hand.
Interesting there that they take the Worcester card.
Yeah.
I think you definitely ramp first.
As in Green Suns for Dryad Arbor.
Correct. Because we're gonna play the Cradle here, regardless, and we want the extra mana. And I think it makes sense here to once and hopefully dig for Once Upon a Time. I mean, like a Safekeeper or you can just tap your Cradle. You don't need to tap the Bayou there. That works.
Noble's still pretty good.
Yeah.
Getting a nice attack.
And then we still have Natural Order, like, math next turn, so to speak.
Yeah, and we have like Talon up, which is nice. We have like another Dryad Arbor up as well. So like, even if this is Bombardiers, we're pretty happy.
Yes, even if it's Bombardiers, I don't think we really care.
Skyclave, that's fine.
That we don't really care, I don't think. You definitely pitch the Arbor if you're contemplating it here. Our opponent will learn the hard way. They took the wrong creature. Like, I'm biased, obviously. I think Wight has an argument to be the strongest creature in Legacy.
It's pretty good. Like, I would argue for some time it was a Reclaimer as well, and now Cradle just gets to play playsets of both of them.
Exactly.
Ooh.
I think here, we want a Green Sun for 1 first.
Yeah, for Safekeeper.
Yeah.
I love that. And then just Natural Order for Atraxa.
Exactly. Like, there's no reason to get hoofed there, and just like, I'm very conservative. Unless I can beat, 1 removal spell, like, then I typically don't get hoofed. Like, how are they beating an Atraxa?
Nice.
Did we play a land drive yet? We did not.
Quick one.
We can
we cast the Green Suns
here, to be honest.
Oh, we could just Cradle for Natural.
And we have lethal now.
Yeah, because we can take Cradle, Natural Order,
and Hierarch,
and Ignobled.
Yeah, right. And it's protected as well because we Green Sun for the Safekeeper.
Crazy.
Obviously, we randomly lose if they board in like Mindbreak Trap here, but like, who's gonna do that against us? We don't even lose, but they live another day, I guess.
Yes.
And here, everything is protected, right? Like, at no point were we really exposed.
Yo, that is nice. That is a turn 4. That is very cool.
And to be honest, like, maybe there's an asterisk on this game because our opponent, picked the wrong creature to kill. But I mean, to me, it's very obvious you kill the 2-drop, not the 1-drop. But can we take a quick break? I gotta use the restroom.
That's all cool. Go for it. A huge thank you to those in chat. A big thank you to those who stayed around from Caleb's and also Justin's stream. I'm Dukes on Twitch. I usually stream twice a week on Thursday nights and Sunday mornings. I run a site called thegreensunzenith.com, which is pretty much dedicated to Legacy Maverick, which is a fair creature-based Green Suns Night the Reliquary deck in Legacy, but also like playing depths. Other fair decks. I don't know if you put Cradle Control in the fair deck bracket, but yeah, a huge thank you to all of you. If you like this sort of content, definitely hit that follow button. Trying to hit 4K this weekend. Not sure if it's reasonable, but we'll see how it goes. I do have 4 more streams coming tonight in 6.5 hours. We have Achilles 27 coming with Maverick, and then tomorrow morning, Mark Strassman, Maverick, Interplay, Tony Murata after that with Cloudpost, and then finishing up Sunday night with Michael Mapson, aka Expedition Map from the Dark Depths podcast with, you'll find out, it's a mystery deck, and it's a deck that he's won a few big events with, so that's pretty sweet. But yeah, a huge thank you to all of you for coming in and watching. Very much appreciate it. Kind of cool to do the 6th, or the 4th, I should say, summit. We've had a pretty good mix of players on this. We've had Pleasant Kenobi, Brian Knievel, Evil Knievel, Phil Gallagher, Newton, of course. Yeah, you can find more info at greensunzenith.com/summit. But yeah, hope you're enjoying the stream. Nice.
Thank you for your patience.
You are more than welcome.
I left my glasses over there. I'm going to get it real quick.
That's cool. Nice.
But yeah, that played out really well.
Yeah, I love this deck. greensunzenith.com is becoming a Cradle deck. Confirmed. I just said greensunzenith.com becoming a Cradle platform now. It's over. Maverick's done. I saw someone in the Maverick Discord the other day playing around with like a old school like Bant Maverick Progenitus natural order deck, which looked pretty cool. But
my issue is I guess this is like the part of the problem with power creep, right? I just feel like Atraxa is just so strong. Like, what? It just invalidates all the other natural order targets, I think.
Yeah, it can be really tough when like a player is like, "Hey, I have this card that I want to play around with," and it's like, but there's just a better version. There's just a better card, like, and you'll still have fun. You'll still really enjoy it, but
yeah, I even this is gonna sound sacrilegious because Reclaimers, been my favorite card ever since it got printed. At least definitely favorite creature. I was like debating seriously whether I even needed 4 Reclaimers anymore because Wight of the Reliquary is just so crazy strong.
Yeah, like maybe that's where you find your third Safekeeper.
Well, to be honest, actually, through 2 matches right now, I think like I can easily just see cutting that first Emperor main deck for the third Safekeeper, just like very low to the ground. Like it's essentially a combo deck, and the combo is just Wild Reliquary plus Sylvan Safekeeper, right?
Man is a little.
I know we have Mott's in the chat here, and obviously Mott's is fantastic player, definitely better player than I am. I personally think this hand is a little bit too reactive, and I would probably mulligan this hand. Because it's already a mode of 6, and the Bog is like not particularly great.
Yeah.
And a Reclaimer, you don't even have acceleration. Like I don't really want to lead with Reclaimer in general.
Yeah.
Unless it's a graveyard deck and the Bog's already in our hand.
Yeah, I really like all of that reasoning, and I'm more than happy to mulligan that because this hand is pretty good. We also get to keep it and bottom the hoof.
I know, right? Like it's the best of both worlds. Andrea Mangucci was actually talking about on his podcast how like this deck mulligans well in the sense that there's always things to bottom.
Yeah. Taiga. I have not played against Taiga in a long time. Greater Garganon. Okay. Interesting. I'm going to assume this is some sort of NicFit deck.
Yeah. So I think if that's the case, we're probably going to fetch like non-basics, right?
Yes. Bayou into once.
I think in this case, I would have once first.
Okay.
Because we know the hoof is on bottom.
Very true.
But I think here it's pretty easy what to take, I think we just take the Safekeeper because we can just go like, protect the Wild Reliquary on turn 2, right?
Yeah.
But
nice.
But yeah, I think in general I like to fetch the Thin first, but if I've already mulligan and know what my bottom card is, then I'll lead with once because I want that card to stay there.
Yes. Yeah, that's very true. Because if you obviously see it with the ones, then it's one less card you get to see.
Exactly. Exactly.
Okay. They can sack this to the Garganon, which is cool. And they will.
Okay, so it's a ramp race. These kind of decks I'm always afraid of because I don't know exactly what I'm supposed to be playing around.
Yes.
Also, they often play Opposition Agent, which is like one of the scariest cards for our deck. In any green deck, to be honest.
Yeah. Mayhem
Oh my
Devil.
god, that card is scary.
Interesting.
Oof.
Oh, they can target anything?
Yeah. I have played that card in Standard in a deck that eventually got banned, and it is a very scary card,
Wow.
especially in conjunction with that or a sack outlet.
Pretty great turn 2 for them.
Yeah, I don't think I really want to play against this deck personally because for the reasons I just mentioned, plus the fact that they're on this Jund version. Also, I would have probably led with the Safekeeper, right? You don't want to give
Yes.
the
100% just because of the Mayhem Devil.
yeah. I don't think it's gonna matter to be honest. They have like a ton of mana, but you know,
Then the Cradle.
yeah, we can just vomit our hand.
Nice. Did not expect this in the 2-way bracket, but here we are.
Do we have confirmation they're also 2-0 as well?
That's a great point. They don't show it.
Sometimes the pairing is like not necessarily the same as ours because it's just whoever's available. But
2, 4,
yeah,
6, 8, 10, 12, 14. We're pretty close to dead.
yeah, I Mayhem Devil is
It's also a black card. We can't snuff out it. Newton.
Go ahead.
Plane is out the door. Snuff out is gone.
To be honest, this is the matchup I wouldn't board and snuff out anyways. Like I don't like boarding and snuff out against decks with like a lot of ETBs, or like these trigger effects. So this is like a Thoughtseize matchup, personally.
I don't think we. Yeah. I don't think we have an out to that, unfortunately. Because
I don't think so too.
they might have nearly. I think they actually nearly had lethal because you can. You sacrifice the permanents for the Greater Garganon, which deals 2, and then you have the Greater Garganon in play, and they had 14 through the lands, and then you have 2 through the Safekeeper, 2 through the Greater Garganon, and then 2 and 1 through. No, because you have to.
I think if we weren't dead that turn, we saw our next card. It wasn't gonna happen, right?
Yes. Because we can't snuff out, is this a Thoughtseize matchup? Or do we just try to race?
I absolutely think this is a Thoughtseize matchup.
Yeah. Nice.
Like we're trying to stop them from whatever shenanigans they're doing.
Something like this?
I definitely like the 4th natural order, which you brought in already.
Yep.
I think I probably like. Well, I'm debating about Emperor versus Endurance. Like I'm trying to think what do they normally have in their deck that Endurance hits. I don't feel like not much. Yeah, Emperor is probably better, but that's just a guess. I haven't played against this deck in a while.
Nice. Yeah. Snuff out. I feel like Snuff out should say that if you hard cast it, it doesn't matter what color the creature is. It's just 4 mana destroy a creature.
Yeah, but Snowfall's already really insane. I'm biased, obviously. I just think free spells are broken, and that's another reason why I play 4 Snowfall instead of like any Fatal Push.
I don't mind this. Like, it's probably one more land that I would like, but knowing that like this could be a Dryad Arbor that gets sacked to the Wight or saved from the Safekeeper, that's kind of nice.
Yeah, I think the issue with this hand is, and maybe it's okay, I don't know, is if you lead with Thoughtseize, then your Safekeeper doesn't really do anything, right? Like then you take a turn off. So I think you almost have to go turn 1 Safekeeper and then turn 3 Thoughtseize, if that makes sense.
Yeah, well.
Right? Because if you go turn 1 Thoughtseize, turn 2 Wight, then your Safekeeper's not doing anything.
Yeah.
But I don't mind keeping that hand if that's you're okay with that. We can try for science.
Yeah, I think so. But yeah, it's interesting. My thought was Thoughtseize to see what they're doing, to see if they have some sort of card that we just can't beat. But
yeah, but what card? I guess you could. My fear is then we lose the Wight, and then our hand is like pretty bad after that.
Yeah, and I feel like that's kind of like play to not lose, but playing Safekeeper into Wight is like play to win.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like, I think if they just have whatever shenanigan combo, then so be it. Also, these decks tend to like skimp on like acceleration, so maybe they just whiff. They don't have a turn 1 play or turn 1 dork anyways. I don't think we care.
There's the Gargadon. Okay.
Like taking that feels kind of bad to be. Oh, it sucks to draw the once there, but just I think we just bash and then fetch another Bayou and just bash with the and then put the Wight in play and hope that goes the distance.
Yeah.
It's less likely so against this kind of deck because one, they have their own combo, and two, they probably have like opposition agent or blood or magus or something like that. So it's nice to have an untapped Wight. It's just like it's less guaranteed of a win against some of these blue decks. I think that's an easy sack. The Bayou.
Yeah, pretty happy to save this. It also means they don't get the token, which is relevant for the Greater Gargadon.
Yeah, for sure. No, I like this a lot. And now, like it's rounding into form, so to speak, right? Like we can Thoughtseize their hand now, bash, and then play a fetch for Arbor.
Definitely the
mayhem. We got to take the Mayhem Devil.
Yeah.
I don't think we care about Abrupt Decay.
Quick look. Yeah, I assume here we don't like fetch the Dryad and look for something right now. We just hold up the Wight.
Let me think about that for a second. Yeah, I don't think there's reason to fetch the other thing right now, unless you want to play around opposition agent. But like even then, like I think it's better to play around Blood Moon here.
Nice, yeah, cool.
Which they sometimes have. I don't know the latest list.
Just to confirm with Suspend, it comes in with pseudo haste. It doesn't have.
I think it does have haste. I think it does have haste. I don't know. It's been a while since somebody got that creature out on me. It has happened. I just don't remember what happened.
Hey, last night we played against ninjas and merfolk, so there's a lot happening in Legacy right now. That's quite nice to see because it means they didn't draw into like opposition agent.
Yeah, for sure. What's a possibility here is like we fetch end step for Arbor. Maybe they decay in response. I think we're happy to fetch we're happy to sacrifice the Bayou.
Yeah.
This is what I mean. Like Safekeeper is like really gross in this deck.
Yeah.
When your threat wins the game. Whew.
I wouldn't mind just going for another Wight over the once.
I believe I would fetch for Arbor first, so we have another sack fodder, and then I would do the same thing. Yeah,
Nice.
it's just like how are they gonna beat a Wight? Like now we have two. Like the only outs are like Toxic Deluge or something like that. But I think as you're like quickly seeing, this deck plays very aggressively to the board.
Yeah, which I really like as a creature player.
Yeah, I mean I love creatures, so it's like definitely up my alley.
I think maybe like Pernicious Deed is a card that I'm always a little bit weary of.
I think Deed actually on this board state we still beat because we can Talon Gates our Wight, right?
Yes. Okay. That's very true.
Like I think the scariest cards right now are like Deluge, maybe like something like a Damnation. Actually, even Deluge and Damnation, we can still do the same thing, right? We can just you know uh Talon Gates
Flicker
our
out.
own creatures out.
Yeah. Explorer here actually quite good for us. Like if we get the 2 basics, we just get to Once Upon a Time and then untap.
Not only that, then we start to threaten lethal with Lair too, right?
Hmm. Um,
I wonder if they have Agent with 3 mana up.
yeah,
Uh, I go ahead.
I think I'm happy just to untap.
I think you might be right. Yeah.
Okay.
Feels like we go Reclaimer off the Arbor and then cast it once.
Yeah. Love it. Ooh.
Uh, I kind of feel like we take the hoof here, to be honest. Right? We just set up a kill next turn.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then a land off the top is 8.
Yeah, we can also just like pitch one of our creatures for another land. Keep that in mind.
Yes. Yeah, very true.
Like all of the other options there are just like not impactful.
Also, if they sack the Veteran Explorer, we just have 2 basics coming.
Yeah, they probably just sack. Sorry, block in the sack with Gargadon.
Hmm. I do love that 2 Wights can just exile themselves to 2 Talons if they are trying to like get rid of the board.
Yeah, exactly. And then even though the fetch is dead here, it's not really dead because we have Safekeeper.
Yep, great point. Yes, because the 2 Pies are gone, the 2 Forests are gone, and the 2 Dryad Arbors are gone.
Like really, Safekeeper has impressed me so much because it actually turns one of the weaknesses of the deck into a strength. Namely, uh, especially if Matt Sabo Punishing Waterfalls is still in the chat here. One of the criticisms of this deck is I err on the side of too many lands. It's just like beating Wasteland and that kind of stuff. That this deck does flood a lot. At least my list. Like I played probably a healthy number of lands, it's like 24, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that is a lot when you think of like also the mana dorks on top of that.
Yeah, so it's really rare that somebody can like mana screw me out of the game. Oh my god.
I wonder if this is Titania.
Even if it is, like, I don't think there's anything we can do right now against it, right?
Yeah, I don't think we have to do anything in response either.
Not to mention, I don't think we have any line that like stops it anyways. So might as well just see what it is.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like potentially we do a Bog to get rid of the Verdant.
Yeah, I don't think that's worth it.
Like it could be the 5 mana that like when it blocks it like gains 3, or you get
Well,
like
it's
a
a
3/3.
trigger as well, right? Like we can just
Correct.
respond to the tiny trigger.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah. The big tree from like M20. Oh, Toxicrene. Toxicrene. Okay.
Okay. Interesting.
We can just. Oh, we can't phase it out, can we?
No, we cannot.
No.
But again, there's nothing we could have done. Like, I think what we could do is just like it has depth touch. How big are our whites?
3/3s.
Mm, it's a 4. It's not unreasonable to like. Well, actually, we have no more lands to get out anyway, so I don't think it matters. I guess we could just untap and attack with, all again, or not all, but like the 2 whites and see if they block.
Yes. Yeah, we could get rid of the Dryad Arbor now to make these 4/4s to use them in end step and probably get Lair.
Yeah, but the thing is, the layer's turned off anyways.
Yes. But it does, yeah, it grows the whites to 4/4s.
Oh, I see what you're saying. You can do it now, and then if they block, then we have a what's it called? We have active white on their turn without having to get a layer. Yeah, I like that. Also plays around agent right now in case they have it for some reason.
Yeah, great point.
I think we just like bash, right? I don't think they're gonna block with they have to at some point, but I think we just bash with both whites.
Yeah, and if they don't, we just have lethal.
Yeah, exactly.
Interesting. Two, 4, 6. Yeah, like a mana dork or 2 helps us with the hoof.
Yeah, we're not too far off. Especially since we can like pitch the reclaimer. We don't have to do it now, obviously, but if we're 1 short, for instance, we can just instep pitch reclaimer for our land, right?
Yeah, very true. Ooh.
That's pretty good
Atraxa?
too. I think so, yeah. Pitching the reclaimer, I think.
Is there any reason to attack first?
Um, I don't, I don't think so because
They
the
would
reclaimer
have to
can't
block.
attack. Like we grow the white here anyways.
Yes. I think just in case we want to have the mana open.
Yeah, for sure. Agreed. So actually, I think natural order makes sense because Atraxa is going to refuel us, and White's going to be lethal. I smell an agent coming, unfortunately.
Hmm. Huh.
I think we
Fine.
definitely pitch in response. The fetches that are dead too.
Yeah. Is this game 2? It is, right?
It is. We're down
Oh.
a game.
Does a card like Toxicrene make you want to? Interesting. They don't even see what natural order target we're going for.
I mean, they're dead regardless, right? Both targets are lethal.
Yeah. That's fair. Yeah, I'm not sure if Snuff Out is worth it. Actually, does Toxicrene turn off Bayou being a... No, it doesn't.
It does not. So Snuff Out is still live during Toxicrene, but I think based on what I saw, like that was the only target really, right? And we won through it. So
yeah,
that's like really low incentive for me to bring in Snuff Out.
Yep. Yeah, and it's funny because like you could say like, oh, but Snuff Out hits Safekeeper, but it's also like you're not really removing any other creatures. And as you said, Safekeeper is only as good as the creature it's protecting. And if you have no removal for it, then there's no real reason to remove the Safekeeper anyway.
Exactly. You're talking about out of. Do they play Safekeeper even?
Game one. Game one, they had Safekeeper with their Mayhem Devil.
Dude, you still there?
Yeah.
Okay, I think your stream went out for a second. Let me see if it's back. Oh, it's back.
Okay. Nice. Yeah, I'm pretty happy to run this back.
Yeah, I think so.
Cool.
But my philosophy, I know a lot of people don't agree with this, is because we're essentially a proactive creature combo deck, I want my cards to just be alive all the time. I'm okay having like no outs to certain cards. I like this hand personally.
Yeah. What have been your thoughts in testing on a Surveil land?
I played it before. I think I cut it because I just wanted another fetch. Like I'm really high on like stable mana base, and I just felt more comfortable with a 15th IMS.
I don't mind.
Also, you can play the dork. It's my thinking here was for the my thinking is for future purposes. If you're unsure, in general, it's correct to play Lair turn one.
Of course, because it comes in untapped.
Right, because if we top that Cradle or something here, then like the math really changes.
Yes. Yeah, I should have
And we
totally
don't want
read.
to like screw ourselves over.
Did they just have the companion of Greater Gargadon? Is that what's happening?
So that was awkward there. Like we only got one land because we opened with one of our forests. Oh my god.
At least we might be able to take the big thing out of there.
Yeah, I think the hope is they only have one payoff, and we just take like you said the big thing that's coming out, like whether it be Mayhem Devil or whatever.
Yeah, I'm not too scared at 2 mana. Nice.
They definitely lead with the okay. So our Lair here is unfortunately off, right, for the reasons we said.
That's nice.
I think we. Ooh. I'm like almost tempted to like natural for Atraxa here, but maybe that's greedy. I feel like Thoughtseize into like whatever is
These
probably
two?
better.
Yeah, I like that we get to triple
Triple spell, yeah.
on turn 2, which doesn't often happen. Okay.
Is that just what is fell? Is this a removal spell?
Correct. Double black and destroy target creature or planeswalker. So I like playing the white out because that might pull them into casting it on the white.
Yeah, I think so too. And actually the Toxicrene, I'm not even sure if it matters here to be honest.
Yeah. Honestly, if our Wincon is Atraxa, we really just
Actually,
care about
maybe
the removal spell.
yeah, I think that might be accurate. And they just like if they want to play the Toxicrene, like our hand is not like great. Our hand doesn't get shut down by Toxicrene here, nor does the Toxicrene really do much here against it.
Leave them with the creatures. And then we obviously want to go.
Yeah, I think we just triple spell here now.
White.
And save the fetch for an Arbor later.
Nice. Nice.
They're almost certainly gonna play the Toxicrene, I would have to imagine. Actually,
yeah, especially.
Go ahead.
You go.
I was gonna say one thing that can be maybe scary is like they play the Titanium and just like sack all their lands for a bunch of things, but
Yes, very true. Thankfully, I believe the lifelink there would be good enough. Oh, okay. So one thing they could do is sack down to 2 and then be able to attack with everything and sacrifice the one that gets blocked by Atraxa.
Yeah, so I'm... Oh, yeah. I think that's a little scary now.
At least these don't have trample.
Okay, so they did not take the line that you said. So that's going to be good for us.
Yeah.
And not to mention they shut out their own Toxicrene now, so that's nice too. I think we probably won. I think I would just get Atraxa stabilized, keep up a fetch for Arbor, and like chump block if need be.
I think we have to chump block this one.
Do we have to do it now? Does it have trample?
It doesn't have trample.
I don't think we chump block now.
Take 9, go to 9. And then we essentially go back to at least 9 plus 7, 16.
I think the extra mana matters more because we can chump block and then sack it into Wild Reliquary for to Talagates.
Yes, very true.
And that should stabilize the match.
So I think Misty, because it can get Dryad Arbor.
Yes.
And then there's no great attacks, so we will just go to natural order.
It's too late now, but I think we should not play the Misty because we can draw into Cradle.
Very true. Yeah.
But
Apologies.
I think now we have no choice. We might as well fetch in response here, I think, to clear the Bayou, but we weren't punished. I think we just take the natural order, the Reclaimer, and then like a one land, I guess, a fetch land.
Nice.
And I think we just like play everything, right? Like the Reclaimer, play the Green Sun for Arbor, and then just pass.
Yes.
And then we have the Arbor that we can also just like block the Gargadon, and then like if they all in attack, which I suspect they will do, we'll just like Talon Gates the other biggest creature that they have.
Nice. Yeah.
So we weren't punished too, which is the nice part about what is it called? We weren't punished by why not fetch Arbor? Because I'd rather just Green Sun for Arbor.
Yeah, you also get the land off the you kind of get a little, you get a +1 mana for
Mana
next
boost,
turn.
yeah.
Okay.
So I think we have this game wrapped.
Yeah, I think it's our game to lose in terms of combat damage.
Yeah, like they're not going to beat this Atraxa, especially since it's backed by Talon Gates. It gets us any land or
any land, forest or plain. Does it get us another?
with
it
a basic land type. Yeah, I think it gets us another Arbor.
Yeah,
if I remember correctly. It's been a while, so that's fine.
Nice. Yeah. that is quite funny. Okay.
All right, so this is pretty easy in my opinion. We just block the Atraxa on the Titania. leave the Arbor or the Reclaimer, either one on the thing. You don't want to lose your Wight, right? It's only a 4/4.
Yes. So I think we actually. Sorry. We have to block here because we gain 5, go to 15, but take this.
No, we gain 7.
Yeah, we gain 7, go to 15. I guess if we want to Talons something, we don't have to block with the Reclaimer.
Yeah, I don't think we need to block the Reclaimer. I think we just Talon the I think we just Talon one of their other attackers.
Yeah. This doesn't have trample. Nice. And then we have Hoof.
We have lethal here.
Nice.
I think if they had taken your line that you had suggested earlier, the game would have been closer. But we had full information.
Hoof, there it is. Nice. Very cool. I was getting a little bit worried. I've got sweaty palms. NicFit can definitely do that.
Okay, I apologize. I'm drinking all this water. It's making me use the restroom again.
No, that's all good.
Can I be back in like 2 minutes?
Yeah, Titania, I did for a second not think about that, how they can just sacrifice everything. A little bit like the Safekeeper, and probably why they play the Safekeeper as well, because Safekeeper and Titania are pretty great together. But hey, now is a great time to follow the channel if you enjoy this type of content. I'll be back, yeah, obviously 4 more streams this weekend, and then most likely back to the usual schedule next Thursday. Have some cool donation deck lists to get through as well. Most likely a green white Mav, and also a kind of new take on 4-color Loam, which I'm pretty excited about. I think that Loam could be silently one of the coolest Psychic Frog decks, especially when you think of Psychic Frog and Life in the Loam. It both enables the flying, you can dredge the draw, and it also gives you cards to discard to grow the frog, which is pretty sweet. Getting full value as well. You don't always get full value in leagues, so I'm appreciative of that. But yeah, a huge thank you to Harry and Jono, who've already been on the stream. Had some pretty great leagues with them. And then back tonight with Achilles. Probably one of the players that I have co-streamed with the most, which is nice. But yeah, if you have any recommendations for who I should stream with for Summit number 5 down the line, let me know in chat.
Hey, I am... Oh. All right, I am back.
Nice. Just from the sound of your chair, I know it's a Herman Miller Aaron.
It is.
Nice.
It's one I got from work, actually, which is nice.
That's cool. Yeah, they're really good chairs. They're comfy, good support. Pretty durable.
I guess I have like work from home to thank for this after the pandemic started, because this is a chair I used in my office, and then when the pandemic happened, I just took it home, and nobody said anything.
Nice. I was just saying before, we got getting full value from this league as well, which is kind of nice.
Oh, in terms of games?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I think it's like really good because so far, it's kind of like you get to play the deck as I wouldn't say first time because you played this deck before, but maybe first time on this version.
Yeah.
And I think as a learning tool, it's probably more helpful than me playing because like for instance on Monday when I did my review stream, I kind of went through it pretty quickly, like because to me what's obvious may not be obvious to somebody else, and I don't know when something's not obvious, I guess.
I feel like I know who this player is.
They're a Brazilian player, I think,
Okay.
but I could be wrong. Hey
Hey,
Romari, how's it
Ramar.
going?
Welcome. I do enjoy Ramar's podcast.
Yeah, Romario is one of my favorite Magic players that I unfortunately have not had, alongside you, obviously, that I have not, unfortunately, have not had the pleasure to meet yet.
Yet. I'm glad you said yet there. I think it's just a little bit too awkward on the mana.
I would agree. It's like a virtual mode of 5 already.
Yeah.
Like between the Talon Gates and the second Guy's Cradle. Like Talon Gates is oddly enough almost worse than Arbor in your opening hand because it doesn't make green.
Pretty happy to keep this. There's always a thought of keeping a forest just against a random deck, but I don't
I would
mind.
just, in general, I think it's the correct play just bottom the forest, unless you know they're on Blood Moon.
Yes. And then having the 3 fetches for the Reclaim is also nice.
3 fetches for Reclaimer, 3 fetches for Bayou, Arbor. Just like fetches are very good in this deck.
To me, Pedal into Ponder means they're really close to going off this turn.
Yeah, I think they're probably on like Rescaminator, but I think the fact that they went Pedal, I almost want to leave with Reclaimer here. Actually, now things have changed a little bit. We drew a second. Yeah, I probably feel like I just like put them on a 1-turn clock. If they're on a graveyard deck, like they have to go off here.
Yeah, I like that as well, especially with the endurance in hand. Like,
I almost think it's correct to fetch basic there because you don't want them to like waste you and give themselves another turn.
That's very
I
true.
don't think it matters. Like it, like I don't. I think that's the exact way you get punished, but that would be the only way, right? If they waste you here, then Reclaimer's technically down for another turn, right? I think we
Yeah.
just play it safe, but easy thing to miss. And just pray they don't have the days or the force.
This is a very big, like, make it or break it moment. Like, to use the Brainstorm, the Pedal to go towards this Archon, and then we don't really have a way to get back. Oh, wow.
Yeah, there's an argument to be made actually. Since this is the Lotus Petal version, so they don't have removal. There's an argument to be made that we get the basic force and just like main phases so that we just don't lose to Archon and untap with Reclaimer, but I think it's okay.
Yeah. The Cradle's interesting because the Cradle now makes me think of these as Dryad Arbors.
Yeah, I also think if they want to daze the Hierarch and just like have a 1 outer, I think we're okay with that and just like have a faster clock. I think we just go like Cradle, or actually, I guess it. I guess we can play the Hierarch and play the Cradle, and then if they want to daze it, we just pay for it, and then like shields down another turn. But I think more likely we can get the Lair of the Hydra going pretty quickly.
Ooh, nice. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I like that.
I think if they had more cards in hand, I probably wouldn't do that. It's a little greedy if they have days.
Frog is fine.
Yeah. I think here we're gonna Reclaimer, pitch away the Bayou, and actually get a Arbor.
Okay.
And the reason being is you get more mana with Gaia's Cradle, in case we top deck Natural Order. Not the card we wanted, but you know, it is what it is.
There's no great attack here.
No, I would just pass. The likeliest scenario is they're going to jump Frog, and we're just going to Talon Gates it out.
Hmm.
Because how many times can they do that before running out of resources, right?
Yeah, very true.
And if they attack, then we're more than happy to just chump block. Like, we don't really care. Or we can actually grow Reclaimer too. That's the other thing. Like, depending on how many cards they have in hand and whatnot.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on just getting rid of the Windswept for the Talon and not fetching?
I would probably fetch for the basic because we don't want to draw the basic and deck
Okay.
it. But more or less the same, yeah.
No
Yeah, so that's the
blocks.
other thing. We can almost get we can get hardcast Atraxa pretty soon.
Yeah.
Which is
Which is pretty sweet.
I have done it a few times. It's more common now ever since we started playing Talon Gates. Before it was very hard but possible.
This makes the green or the black one.
We're still
Yeah.
short.
Yeah, just. We do get an attack in here with the Arbor.
Yes, we do. And same thing, we can like deck thin here as well, depending what they do.
Yeah. I love that they would have to discard 2 cards to
Jump it, right?
Yeah. I guess 3 cards to make it jump and then 2 cards to beat the Reclaimer if the Reclaimer blocks, but then the Talon just takes it out again.
Exactly.
Same sort of thought with the fetch for a basic, or just get rid of the fetch land.
I think I would fetch for basic game 1. If post board, I'm less likely to do that because they can have things like Harbinger.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, like
Look, combat math isn't for everyone.
This matchup, I think given that we saw Lotus Petals, they're on the fast version, I would just board out the whole natural order package.
Okay.
And
Probably move towards like the fairies.
the fairies, the bones, the thought seizes.
Nice. I assume Lotus Petal isn't enough to keep in Ouphe.
No. And then let me see how many cards we have left. We have 2 that we need to board out. I think this is interesting. I think because they're kind of like the all-in version with Lotus Petals, I'm debating whether I want the Safekeeper more or the Bones more. I feel like the Safekeeper is like less good here because an Emperor getting a Wight or Endurance back is pretty big. For the last 2 pair of Thought Seizes, yeah.
Nice.
If they were on the more standard Rescaminator builds, without Lotus Petals, I probably wouldn't bring in the last 2 Thought Seizes because I think protecting Wight is pretty important.
Yeah. Yeah, Wight's been really, really good this league.
Like, it literally played out the way I said it would, right? If you untap with it, you will win.
Yeah, it's been interesting to see players either not remove it or remove another creature instead, and then just see it over a few turns take over the game, and then see your opponent start like chumping or trying to do a few last minute decisions that just aren't going to get them anywhere.
Yeah, what really makes it for me and sells me on Wight is the vigilance has just been absurd because they can't because it's so good offensively and defensively, right? Like you hold her up, like they can't really do anything because she's like a pseudo mother of runes. But then at the same time, also, she puts you on, she puts the opponent on like depending on how big she is, right? Like maybe
Yeah.
a 3 or 4 turn clock.
I love this hand.
Yeah, this is fantastic.
Has a little bit of everything. With this being a faster version, are you more likely to lead on Thoughtseize and Ignobled?
Um, I think I think it makes sense to ooh, that's a good question. I think especially with fairy backup, I'm tempted to lead with Hierarch here to well actually if they play frog it's kind of bad, but we're going to fetch Bayou regardless here.
Hmm.
Um yeah, I think I don't mind Thoughtseize here because we don't have a great turn to play, right? Ideally take out their frog or whatever nonsense that they have.
Okay.
Oh. Okay, that's pretty good.
Yeah. I assume they kind of reset the game with the Wasteland, but taking the Ponder here means that, yeah.
I don't even know if I take the ponder there to be honest. Like I just think we take the reanimate, right?
Okay.
Or actually, hold on. Yeah, I guess they would have to draw two things to like bin themselves, right? Yeah, okay. In hindsight, I think maybe we just take the ponder. The reanimate's not great.
Yeah, I think where we get caught out potentially is if they put a creature in the bin, reanimate, we fairy, and then they go creature in the bin, reanimate. But hopefully
Yeah,
by
yeah.
then we find something else.
No, I think that makes sense, right? And ponder keeps them off like drawing removal or something like that too. Yeah, they're almost certainly going to reset us here, but I don't think we care.
Yeah, I think the only other line is potentially like a top deck Entomb. They could also try to, like, if they wanted to, Delta for the Scryland to hit with the reanimate, but there's probably a world where they think we're on just the one land.
Yeah. Interesting. I think here, I just want to go green sun for Reclaimer, right?
Yeah, nice. And I'm pretty happy to get the other Bayou. Actually, maybe the forest because it's a land we're happy to get rid of with the Reclaimer, and also keep a Bayou in the deck.
I think I'm okay getting the Bayou here in case they waste us off.
Yes, and we do have the
It,
Ignobled as another black source.
I think if it were me personally, I probably would have just played the basic there and save the fetches for arbors and whatnot later.
Yep, that's very true. Push.
There's a world here they reanimate our Reclaimer, but I don't think we care.
Yeah.
There's a possible world here they Harbinger to and try to go for the cheese play. Yeah, there it is.
Okay.
Perfectly fine with that.
Yeah.
I think the game is likely already over. Like they have no pressure.
Think we're so.
You don't need to
If
do anything. Go ahead.
if the Harbinger gets removed
Uh-huh.
and we Talons a creature, they reanimated it, we get it back.
Say that again.
So say Talons comes into play and
Uh-huh.
Harbinger isn't there.
Uh-huh.
We take out the Reclaimer, and then when it comes back into play, does it go under the owner's control or the controller's?
No, it would go under their control.
Okay.
Oh, that's a fantastic draw.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So the fairy's like really important here because our bog is turned off.
Hmm.
But at the same time, we can just like it's a little greedy if we go for the kill here, right? And they just fatal push the white.
Yeah, so they've already used one reanimate, sorry. So if we, yeah, are you saying like we block and then just sacrifice the fairy so it goes to the graveyard so that we make this
Yeah,
a
but
3/3?
I think that's a little greedy because like they if they had the removal so then we just like lost a fairy for no reason.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not to mention the hierarch's gonna allow us to race.
Yes. Nice.
Oh my god, look at this.
Wow, I just took it.
I don't think it makes sense for them to block. Like I don't know what
Yeah,
they could do there.
that's fair.
The good thing here is
We can block, get rid of an arbor or a noble for an arbor and make the rider 3/3.
yeah, we could. If that's if they attack for some reason.
Yeah, it's funny. Like they just don't have great attacks now.
I think you just get the arbor regardless because our white's gonna continue to grow.
Hmm. Yeah, very
Right.
true. Like it does get exalted from the creature, but also just gets, possible +1 for being in the graveyard.
Exactly, right. So I think we've probably already won. I know I say that like pretty early, but like I just don't see how our opponent's coming back in this game. I think here we wanted to play the white first in case they force. So you get
Okay.
an extra creature in
Yes.
the yard.
Very true. Yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
think
it's
it's gonna
true.
matter.
I always do think about like, is it good to show like at the least amount of information possible, or is it better to, I think in that case, obviously, yeah, try to grow the creature. That comes up a little bit with Fiend Artisan as well.
Yeah,
Play
yeah,
your
yeah, for
creature's
sure.
first main.
The funny thing here is like the harbingers shutting off their own reclaimer, right?
Yeah.
Which is kind of funny if you think about it. So,
Frog's fine.
I think frog is like pretty bad right now on this board state.
Hmm. Probably, yeah, probably getting the other Dryad Arbor.
I think so. And I think you want to pitch the arbor.
Okay. That's on me. I felt like we had our mana here pretty well kept, but
Yeah, but they kill. Oh, I mean, I guess what I was saying was like if they kill what does it call it? Our hierarch, then we're cut off black.
yes, that's very true.
I think we just bash with both reliquaries, right?
Yeah.
They have to block. Probably with the reclaimer.
Yeah, thankfully, I don't think we have to use the Faerie Macabre on them.
I would hold the fairy because I think
Yeah.
what anime dead is like one of the ways we lose.
Yes, 100%. Interesting they're not trying to like double block here.
No, I think they know like we have like combat tricks and whatnot.
Yeah. Just trying to save face a little bit. Yeah. Just didn't have a way out of it. Really interesting.
All right. My ritual here has been, we're gonna keep it running, right? I'm gonna use the restroom real quick,
Nice. That is cool.
and then we'll try to clean out this league here after that.
Hey, Terrible Nate. I do have a list. I don't have it on me, but if you search or go to my YouTube channel, you should be able to find a recent 4-color loam video that has a version of it. And you know what? With Newton gone, we can go have a look. Videos. Let's search for loam. Just saw it. There, 4-color. Yes, I believe it was this one. Tech. So really, yes, this is version playing the frogs, and I believe here we'll have the deck list right there. Copy this over for you. Boom. That was before grief as well, so definitely just take that into consideration. If you want to join the Maverick Discord, there is a other versions channel within it where people do talk about loam. Connor False is very active there as well. Very reputable and known 4-color loam player who really likes the 4-color versions now with Frog. There's also a Facebook group for 4-color loam. Eureka, welcome. Hope you're well. But yeah, again, a big thank you to all of you for coming and watching. Very much appreciate the support. If you like this content, definitely consider following the channel if you aren't. But yeah, some sweet matchups tonight. We've played against Frog, of course. I'm trying to think of the other decks. We played against like a Jeskai Cat Delver. What else do we play against? Elves. D&T, Mardu.
All right, Dukes.
Oh, hey. Newton. And NicFit. Thank you. There we go. Nice. All right, let's get this trophy.
Yeah, let's do this. As Bluey the dog would say, right? Let's do this.
I sadly have never seen an episode of Bluey, even though it is an Australian-based.
I only referenced it because it was Australian shepherd dog.
Yes, I've actually
And
heard
a true
a lot
Australian
of parents. Dog. Exactly, I've heard a lot of parents do actually enjoy Bluey. Like you could watch it without kids if you wanted to just like chill out and maybe not without kids, but I've heard the jokes are pretty funny.
I have only seen bits and pieces. I'm sure I'm gonna watch it more once our son gets a little older. He doesn't care too much for it right now. He's like in the Miss Rachel phase, but we'll see, right? I think yeah, hopefully we can clean this finish this league off here nicely. Especially since Romario is in the Twitch chat.
Thank you,
he told me something earlier today that broke my heart. He said he was not contemplating Cradle for Eternal Weekend, and I can't play Eternal Weekend personally, but I'm trying to get somebody to, or at least some people to play, so I can live vicariously through them. So
nice.
So we'll see if Romario can be convinced after this 5-0 potentially, right?
Where is Testicular based?
I believe Curran is in Portland.
Okay. Nice. Do you have a pretty good local scene? Do you have like a weekly you could go to if you wanted to play Legacy?
Yeah, actually my local scene is pretty good. And one of the reasons I got into Legacy more seriously, or at least more spending more time with Legacy. Unfortunately, I haven't played much since the pandemic started, and then the owner actually was really cool about having essentially being spreading the scene for Legacy, because he opened up the shop just because the old one that everybody was hanging out with got sold and essentially sold off. Unfortunately, the owner is recently passed away, so no longer with us. But I do want to shout out Kelvin Young, for being that awesome store owner that he was.
That's that's make or break. Like a good store owner makes like it's so different to an LGS where it's just like more of a business and like, yes, you can play here, but yeah, to have like a community aspect as a store owner is, I think, really important, keeping a scene like Legacy alive.
Yeah, definitely too. It's actually where you might know some of these players. They play on my store. I know like Max Dorshin, Maxwell Gilmore,
Nice.
plays there. I think who in the community you might know. I guess he's like the one that comes to mind because I see him a lot. Or I did see him a lot. I don't see him as much anymore because I've been busy with this baby.
Yes, I can imagine. Okay.
I have a rule where if I have 5 lands, it's an automatic mulligan.
Yeah, I was trying to convince myself that like, oh, this one's a Dryad Arbor, so it's a creature. But yeah, I think there's just not a whole lot going on, and we've had some pretty good 6s. That
Unfortunately, this is not one of those great 6s.
mm,
Atraxas obviously would be bottom. The once is almost like another mulligan. I don't know what my opponent is on, and then like 3 lands. The likelihood is we're gonna draw another land. I think I want to go to 5.
yeah, it's really interesting because if we got this as a 5, I think we'd be pretty happy.
I don't think so.
No?
I think I need it on a 5. I think I need exactly 2 lands and 3 business spells, or
Okay.
three creatures.
Okay, that's good to know.
Because we're likely going to draw another land. The 4th land is dead.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, this is way better, right?
Maybe the cradle. Maybe it's a little bit greedy keeping the cradle. I would drop these 2, Wight and Forest.
I think the safe play is definitely Wight and Cradle. I think the upside of Cradle is just way too high. So I would, I think I would agree. Wight and Forest.
Especially on a 5, you kind of got to take,
You got to be a little bit more aggressive, yeah.
Yeah. One player I haven't heard of in a long time is Min, as in Min Max Blog. I don't know if they've been playing.
I don't know if he has. Min's a great guy. He actually helped me with my computer setup. So,
Very nice.
like shout out to Min for that. Oh, is this the mirror?
Could be. Could definitely be. Interesting choice of Forest.
Yeah, that's a scar on our on us. Well, we don't know if they're playing for the 5-0, but hopefully we get the 5-0 here. I would love to see,
It would be nice.
That's true. I am.
Ooh,
it is the bad deck.
I do.
I think this is the Nadu deck, but I could be wrong.
Ah, interesting. Yeah,
I don't think they're on Elves. There's no way, right? Like Elves is non-existent now.
Wow, no attack? Interesting. Sadly, we can't triple spell.
We can.
We need the black. Oh
no, we can triple spell. You need to be familiar with these lines here.
Let me just take a second. Black, Claimer, black, and 2. Oh yeah, okay. Nice. Boom.
Our deck is all about what's the word I'm looking for? It's about
once you see it, it's there. But you kind of have to like tilt your head a little bit.
It's about organized vomiting our hand. Like it's the what in the world? Why do
Interesting.
They do
that? Are they wanting to sacrifice it for something?
Oh, they're gonna play that that card, the green pitch. It's like a NicFit deck, I think.
Yes. Oh, Court of Calling. Okay, this probably is going to be
okay. So they are Nadu.
Okay.
That does not seem great to me. Like, maybe they have to. I don't know, but
even if the green sun's for Nadu here,
oh my god. I think it is the mirror. They just happen to be playing Shepherd for some reason.
I guess we'll see.
I think they didn't get
there
the
we go.
memo. Blue decks don't beat us.
Yeah, it's a Nardu deck. So they do have Nardu and Nomads coming.
Oh, okay. That makes more sense now. Like that they're playing Nadu because Shepherd in our deck doesn't make any sense.
Ouphe. Oh, then we can. Yes, nice.
We
can
have
even,
everything.
Yeah, we literally just Dryad Arbor, sack it, attack, and then obviously phase this out.
Yeah, exactly.
Damn.
Actually, hold on
Oh.
1 second. We can do even more. Okay, so we have 6 mana and we have a second Arbor. So you can actually Reclaimer for Arbor, pitch the Bayou, sack the Natural Order, and then sack the second Arbor to phase out. So you have more damage. I mean, I guess it's for fun. I mean, it doesn't matter, but I'm just saying in case it matters in the future.
Yes. 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 We tap this
Because
up. Is it more damage?
Yeah, because you're gonna have to pitch Arbor to Natural Order anyways, and then you're gonna have to phase out the Atraxa, so you're gonna lose one of your attackers anyways. So you might as well turn the Reclaimer into an Arbor right now. So you have 6 mana with a Cradle and the Bayou.
Yep.
And you're gonna pitch the Bayou for Arbor.
Yes, offer a Reclaimer.
Right. And then you pitch the Arbor that you just got off the Reclaimer to Natural Order, attack with the other 3 creatures, and then pitch the second Arbor.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, it's very true because it actually.
I mean, this is win more here, but like in case in case the audience needs to do this for some reason in the future, it is a extra damage. Right. You see how it's extra damage, right?
Yes.
Because we essentially have +4 to every creature. Not to mention the Reclaimer gets grown as well. So we actually get +6 damage.
Nuts. Just when we needed it. Yes. This.
And our opponent is salting here.
Oof. Nice. I would assume this is a matchup for the Snuffouts.
Yeah. Snuffouts like absolutely wild in this matchup.
Endurance?
I guess doesn't do anything.
Yeah. Maybe the Ouphe.
I don't think so. Like I don't think they're playing Shuko. I would just bring the Thoughtseize, right? And the 4th Natural Order.
Nice. Probably Emperor.
The Bog can safely come out.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually think like
Safekeepers? Oh, they're running swords, maybe?
I don't like Safekeeper in this kind of matchup because you're never gonna get to sequence Safekeeper ahead of your threats, and they're probably gonna kill your dorks anyways. So I think I would take out the Safekeeper because the talent upside is high.
Yeah. That's very true. Ooh, double snuff with Natural Order.
What a hand. Huh?
This is, pretty nice.
So you know how at the beginning of the stream, one of the questions was like, why are we playing 4 Snuffouts? This is one of the matchups.
I assume for this sort of deck as well, it's kind of kill on sight. Like, you could try to save the stuff out for things like Nardu, but I
think it's kill on sight.
Yeah.
Especially we have 2. Like also that deck like folds when so you want to go go ahead. Let's see if for learning purposes, right?
Yeah, I think it's land fetch for Bayou and then once and and then probably Thoughtseize, and then Snuff Out.
I think because they're a creature combo deck, you can actually wait on the Thoughtseize. So we're gonna get to triple spell turn 1. Like you had the first 2 steps, which is fetch Bayou once for best card, snuff into Dork. Like
Nice.
what a play, right? Like we're making ourselves weak to Mindbreak Trap, but so be it, right? I actually think here
It could just be a land.
I mean Cradle if anything, right?
Hmm.
Because that means we can have turn 3 natural order.
Yeah.
Still.
Yes, because the Misty gets a Dryad Arbor.
Exactly.
Nice. Damn. We can cast 4 spells before our second upkeep. That's pretty crazy. Oh my gosh, yeah.
Like we're just so far ahead, right? Like we're gonna go seize into like whatever matters.
Wow. Okay. So the Hoof we don't care about. The Nomads on this board is pretty irrelevant, but it is a combo piece. It's probably the Nomads for me because the Green Suns and the Birds are all pretty much the same thing with the mana that they have.
Agreed. And then I think same thing. We're just gonna like set them back to the Stone Age, right?
Yeah, I don't think we need to hold up the ones if we're getting Dryad Arbor.
There's an argument to be made to once there, but I think it's safer this way. This is a guaranteed Atraxa now.
I guess we could Green Suns for another Arbor, but
I think we do.
okay, nice. Get it out of the deck.
And then we want to hit a Thoughtseize here. Or snuff out with Atraxa.
Yes.
Well, we want to. I guess it doesn't matter. I was gonna say, I think we hit the untapped one, but
Definitely Green Suns.
yep.
I think on this board the Wight.
I actually think the Reclaimer.
Okay.
Because the Wight's not going to be active until next turn.
Hmm.
Oh, sorry, the following turn, and we're just gonna like essentially Rishodon port them and Talon Gates their dorks.
Yep. And then probably just a fetch.
Yeah.
Done. Nice. I love the microwave sound because we're cooking, Newton.
There's actually an argument to be made to get the other Talon Gates, so we can just like double Talon Gates their dorks next turn.
Yeah, that's very
on
true.
upkeep.
Hmm. Okay.
I think we want to play the Reclaimer off the Bayou first, and then dig for another Cradle off the Once Upon a Time, and we have lethal.
Yes. Yeah, sorry, did you say use these two to once for another Cradle and then double tap Cradle? Actually,
you can tap the Cradle as you want to tap the
Yes.
Cradle as is right now.
Because we have 3 left over.
Uh-huh.
Come on. Oh. There is a Talon.
I think we just take the fetch here. And just pass turn.
Play a land. Another Reclaimer? Actually, we probably just want to hold up the Reclaimer on the bird for our Talons.
Now that I think about it, was Dork one of the options? I think we could have had just lethal if we didn't get a Reclaimer, but we missed. If we did have it, we missed it.
To pay off the Green Suns for 8.
Yeah, I think we just attack for 8 here.
Yep.
And just like hold Reclaimer for Talon Gates. Your opponent is not too happy.
Okay.
I think I would upkeep, hit the birds.
Yep.
With Talon Gates.
Cool. Assume they're green sunning for 3.
Yeah.
Potentially grist.
If they get grist, I don't think we care. Like they're dead here, right?
Yes. Dryad Arbor is gone. So I think we just untap here.
Mm-hmm.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
And then we just play our other land.
We can fetch with this as well.
Yeah, they can't play grist too.
Nice.
There you go.
Very nice. Very cool to get the trophy. As intended. Sounds like
I'm pretty sure the last 3 times I've streamed with you, you've gotten the trophy. So
something's gone right. So that is very cool. Sweet deck as well. Let's be honest. Yeah, it was sweet. There wasn't it's cool because you might look at the deck, see a lot of play sets and go, okay, probably it's pretty easy to work out how to sequence everything. But there's so many different things that you have to think about when you sequence, that it's a really good puzzle. And then the payoff is typically natural order. That it just feels really good that you can do that puzzle as early as turn 3 or turn 2.
The earliest we can natural order in this deck is technically turn 2. It doesn't come off too often, but what you could do is turn 1 Dork, turn 2 Evoke, and then get an extra mana off the Cradle, and then sack for Atraxa.
Nice. Okay.
Or Collector Ouphe, depending on the matchup.
When it comes to some of the bigger events, like the challenges of the prelims that you play in, or the showcases, is there matchups that you just really want to try to avoid?
Yeah, there are, I think in general, this deck does not want to see anything that wins turn 1 and is mostly immune to endurance. That is how I would describe the bad matchups. The matchups that are swingy, I guess, are the Ancient 2 matchups. Because they have some broken starts we just cannot beat. But especially when they're on the play, but when we're on the play, I feel okay if you draw if you open with Snuff Out.
Yeah, Snuff Out tonight was pretty amazing.
Yeah, it was insane that game, right? This is why we play 4 Snuff Outs, because it just so happens Ride of the Reliquary some of the matchups that it's like less dominant in are like the creature combo matchups and the Ancient Tomb matchups, and that's where Snuff Out is really good.
Yeah. Yeah, especially the ability to still stay on tempo and just like play a turn 1 Hierarch or turn 1 Reclaimer or Green Suns and remove their threat feels really bad from the other side of the table. It's like, oof, okay. You're behind. Like, you're behind and they're also in front, if it makes sense.
Yeah, it does. Like, ideally, this is like secretly a tempo combo deck, right? Like, all your threats are so efficient. Like, your removal's free. Your bomb is 2 mana. You have main deck green counterspell or Force of Will in Endurance. Like, really, you're looking to just tempo out your opponent, and you have a combo kill, a 1-card combo in natural order.
Yeah. Yeah, this is sweet. A huge thank you, Newton. If people want to find you and watch you, where can they find you?
Sure. Let me bring up my what's it called, my Twitter page, I guess.
Yes.
And then
Nice.
on my Twitter page is also my link tree. So I would say that's probably the easiest way to find me. And then there you go. You're bringing it up. So there's my Twitter. I posted it here in Twitch chat too. My link tree is also there. I will quickly, copy and paste that as well into the chat.
Nice.
And hopefully we'll see. Hopefully the other thing I want to plug is if you're looking for a deck for Eternal Weekend, nobody plays this deck. Nobody's gonna hate you out. So you pretty much have a free top 8 like ready to go.
That is a really good selling point.
Like, nobody plays this deck on paper, and nobody respects this deck really, because they think, oh, Gaia's Cradle the price is gonna just prevent people from trying this deck. And the people who actually can afford Gaia's Cradle, this deck is actually secretly very difficult to pilot. And I think if you are not afraid of sequencing and want to top 8 Eternal Weekend, you have my guarantee you will top 8 Eternal Weekend if you play this deck.
Can't beat that. Yeah, I do love it. I really want to get my hand on some Cradles because it is the last thing that I need for it. And yeah, knowing like pre-modern as well uses Cradles, so it's not like you are synced into just this one deck. And I do like as well that like right now I feel Ancient Tomb is getting a lot of hate because it, obviously taps with 2 mana on turn 1, but like Gaia's Cradle, hold my beer. How much are we tapping that for tonight? Like up to 7? You kidding me? Insane. For some reason, it always stuck with me when Reed Duke said that Gaia's Cradle is the most powerful card in Legacy, which was a little while ago, but I still think it's one of those cards that people just don't really understand how good it is until you play with it.
No, actually, it's funny. I'm obviously gonna be, promoting this as much as I can because nobody's playing this deck. Like I said, Romario broke my heart this morning when he told me he was playing something else. But there's an argument to be made right now. This deck plays the best card, period, which is Gaia's Cradle. The best creature, period, which is Why the Reliquary. The best cantrip, which is Once Upon a Time. And the best, or maybe not the best, but one of the best tutors in Green Sun Zenith. So that is my plug for this deck. The downside is every once in a while you will lose to Belcher, but you can't beat them all.
Yeah, I feel like that's part of Legacy is losing to decks that win on turn 1.
Yeah, like we're not gonna beat Belcher. You got me there. Like if your meta game is all Belcher, but I think outside of Storm, which for the most part is immune to Endurance, this deck has game against every deck outside of, I would say, turn 1 combo that. Or I guess I don't really want to play against Ouphe spells too because that feels like rolling dice. Like if they have the combo plus pack negation, like I can't do anything about it. And the Ancient Tomb matchups, like I said, are 50-50, but I think like every time we untap tonight with Wild Reliquary, we won pretty easily.
Yeah. One thing I will ask, do you think that players should understand which matchups they just don't really have a chance against and not think about them when it comes to sideboarding? Are there some matchups where you're like, if I play against this, I accept that I'm going to lose. I'm going to focus on the matches that where, I can tinker like a 50-50 to like a 60-40 or like a 70-30.
Me personally, I don't know if I've shared this with you, and if I do, if you're interested, I can just send it over. I have this thing called a sideboard optimizer, which you can customize to your own setting. It basically what it does is I have an evaluation of all the sideboard options, and I grade it on a number system, which is 0.25, 0.5, 0.75, or 1, based on the matchup. So, for instance, a snuff out, because it's just a removal spell, cannot be a 1, even though it's free. So against like Ancient Tomb, I have it like 0.75. But like, for instance, Faerie Macabre against graveyard based combo deck, that's a 1, right? Like, so, and Thoughtseize, I have it like a 0.75. And then I take that number, I multiply that by the metagame share of all the decks percentage, and then whatever number is the highest at the end basically is how I try to build my sideboard.
Nice. Okay. I
So
like that.
it's really just a numbers game for me. Like, if a deck is, let's just say it's all graveyard decks, right? And we have like 4 Leyline of the Voids in the sideboard, like that's probably pretty good, right?
Yeah, I love that. As someone whose favorite movie is Moneyball, that speaks to my heart. um,
Is it
and
really?
100%, yeah, that movie I love.
Oh, you're gonna love hearing this then. Cassandra Lynn, who top aided with this deck, granted with Fiend Artist in the Eternal Weekend last year, she calls this Cradle Ball because essentially that's what this deck is doing. It is essentially the Moneyball version of Legacy. Like, we're just
Yes.
that is exactly what this deck is trying to do. Because if you notice, depending on the matchup, the game plan like is very different. But there is a game plan for every matchup, and uh, like against graveyard based combo, I want to like untap Wily Reliquary. That's like the main game plan against and all the cards help supplement that game plan, right? And against like Ancient Tomb, I want to resolve a natural order. Like, typically there's a game plan to every matchup, and it optimizes based on post board configuration how to effectively use that game plan. So obviously against like control, where endurance is okay but not great, I boarded out post board, and then I boarded Thoughtseize because my plan is to stick a natural order for Atraxa, and they cannot beat that.
Hmm.
The fourth natural order in the sideboard Romario is just like for these Ancient Tomb matches where I really just don't care if I have multiples. I really want to counter 4. And that actually was convinced by me by Andrea Mangucci. So shout out to him.
Nice. Yeah, it was yeah, fantastic to see him doing well as well with the deck. And I really do hope that we see some at Eternal Weekend, either on camera. I would assume sometimes Eternal Weekend Japan doesn't have coverage, but I would assume that both Europe and America do have ongoing coverage of both days.
I don't know the details personally. My
Mm,
guess is there's not too many Cradle players for Eternal Weekend in Japan, based on previous years, and because like I think most players are playing, at least previous years they were playing this traditional like Elves list or whatnot. I also think they're more likely the spiritual descendant of the Nettle Sentinel list is like the Nadu list, so they're more likely to play that if anything.
yes. Yeah.
Also, just based on trend, there's only 1 or 2 players in that time zone and that have reached out to me, or just I know have been in my Discord and been active, compared to the European scene and compared to the North American scene. So I think anecdotally, at least, it doesn't seem like the Japanese players are on this list as much. And
Hmm.
also, just based on last year, the 2 top 4 finishes we had for Cradle were also in North America and Europe. So uh, take that for what it's worth.
Okay. Well, yeah, it'll be I can't wait. I love having like a weekend of Legacy, and I do miss like the waking up on Sundays for like SEG. That was always pretty sweet. Yeah, Newton, a huge thank you again. I hope you have a great weekend. A huge thank you to the people who came in and watched. A big thank you to the raids from Caleb and Justin and all those who stayed onwards for the trophy. Very cool to get that. I love, yeah, I love manifesting our 4-1 into a trophy league. So that's really cool. So a huge
You know
thank
what
you.
they say, right? It's always good to keep improving, and I'm glad we could turn that 4-1 into that 5-0. So
100%.
I'm glad this
Yes.
deck didn't let you down today. So very happy to that went well on stream, and thank you for the invite on.
You're welcome, co-host of or co-founder of the Sylvan Syndicate. I'll be back in 5 hours with Connery False, aka Achilles 27 on Maverick. So if you're around then, I look forward to seeing you again. If not, I'll be back tomorrow as well with Mark Strassman, Tony Murata, and Michael Mapson. Nice. Take care. Thank you again, and we'll catch you next time.